Welcome into Game 2 of the 2018 American Baseball Championships, coming to you live from Clearwater, Florida. The #1 seed Houston Cougars will be the home team against the 8th seed Tulane Green Wave. Alongside Jeff Brightwell, I'm Garrett Walford, coming to you high above in the press box. Jeff, we've got some news from the American Conference because of rain in the forecast. The league has been... They've made a change. They've gone from playing 2 games tomorrow to playing 6. Let's give you the updated bracket so everyone who's following these teams can get an update. Tomorrow, they'll play 3, 4, and 5 in this stadium. Where are the other games going to be played?
Actually, it'll be 3, 4, and 8 will be here at Spectrum Stadium. They'll start out with Game 5 at 9 a.m. That's the UCF game. They wait to play the loser of this game tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. over at Robin Roberts Field in the Carpenter Complex. They will then shift to a loser's bracket game, Game 6. That will be played at 12:30. And then originally Game 7, that was going to be played Thursday at 3. It'll be played at 4 tomorrow. So again, tomorrow, 3, 4, and 8 will be here at Spectrum Field.
Let's go down to the third member of our broadcast crew, and Haley out.
Rain or shine, we're going to do our best to get these broadcasts in. And thanks so much for joining us on the American Digital Network Plus. It's our first full day bringing fans live coverage. In the first game, guys, I think it went pretty well. We had about 1,000 comments and 2,000 viewers throughout the game, so really enjoyed those interactions with all of our fans. We're going to bring you trivia questions, fun facts, but most importantly, we want to learn how you guys are enjoying this broadcast. So stay with us throughout this game as we bring you our coverage.
Thank you so much, Haley. Interactive like never before at the American Championship. Jeff, let's take a look at the Tulane Keys. The Green Wave come in 9-14 in conference play, 24-31 overall.
Have to play very good defense today. Houston's a team that likes to put the ball in play. They are very methodical, so have to make the routine play. Have to focus on every at-bat, too, because the Houston Cougars allowing just a .228 batting average against. And take advantage of your offense. Tulane was able to flex their offensive muscle earlier this season against Houston in that 3-game series, but now you're playing without the win that you had earlier today in game number 1.
The Cougars 33-21 in the regular season and a dominant 16-8. Here are their keys to victory.
The Houston Cougars keep that vaunted Tulane offense off balance. Keep the ball down low. Don't let them get it up and hit home runs. And they get runs the old-fashioned way. Put it in play. They were second in the league in sacrifice bunts and second in hits.
On the mound today, well, we've got a treat. It's an ace in Aaron Fletcher, the American Pitcher of the Year for 2018. The lineup for Tulane with Artigues at the top, Witherspoon leading the team in home runs, followed by Jensen, Matthews, and Hosey in the middle of the lineup. Glancy, Ty Johnson, Salgazzo, A.C. Owen, and Keegan Gillies round it all out.
It's a very good Tulane lineup. 45 home runs on the year, 115 doubles. That was 17th in the NCAA.
Almost ready to get underway here as you see 6', 220-pound junior Aaron Fletcher out on the hill. And what do you think about Houston going with their ace to start the ballgame?
Well, a lot of teams have to go midweek sometime, throw a reliever, but it was set up. Houston only scheduled. Their bye weekend was the final weekend of the season. Only played a pair of games.
Leadoff single for Artigues, and we are underway here. Game 2, Tulane gets a runner on.
Again, with the American with 9 baseball teams, you have a bye weekend within there. What I was saying is Houston drew that final bye weekend, a non-conference series, played just a pair of games, allows them to go with the pitcher of the year. But that aggressive Tulane offense shoots a base hit in the right center field.
Not an easy pitch to hit. Went outside and got it, lifted it to the other field. Now Grant Witherspoon comes to the plate, All-American performer. 19 doubles on the year, 10 home runs to lead the Green Wave, and 46 runs driven in.
Not a huge base stealing team. They can when they need to. 45 steals on the year for the Green Wave, and Artigues with 10 of those stolen bases. Artigues and Witherspoon with 23 of the 45 stolen bases this season.
In the regular season matchup, 2 of 3 games went the way of Tulane in New Orleans. And the first game in that matchup was certainly a thriller, 17-16. The Green Wave ended up winning by 1 run, and they come back the next day and shut out Houston 2-0.
Let's take a look at Witherspoon, one to watch this week. 324, 19 doubles, 10 home runs. Also very good on the bases, as we just mentioned, with the 13 stolen bases, and does a nice job defensively in center field.
Infield comes set. Fletcher will go back over.
That series in New Orleans, they played the Friday game. It was a 17-16 win by Tulane. Had to miss Saturday due to weather in the area. They actually played a doubleheader on Sunday. That 2-0 Tulane win in 7 innings. The 5-3 Cougar win, a 9-inning game. That was game 2 of that doubleheader.
Fletcher's 1-1, just misses. Houston owns a record of 13-3 in Clearwater over the last 4 years. They've qualified for all 4 championship games. They are the only team in the conference to have played in all 4 title matchups.
Tulane Green Wave is the 8th seed offensively. Could make some noise this weekend. They could ruin somebody's week, and if they swing the bats well, never know if they can make their way to Sunday. Now, had they been playing the earlier game and the wind is starting to pick back up a little bit, but we had a very brisk wind today between ECU and UCF. However, no home runs hit in that ball game. A lot of doubles, a triple hit in that game, but nobody touched the ball for a home run. I'm sure Tulane wishes that wind had stayed around.
Kyle Lovelace behind the plate for the Cougars. True freshman. Fletcher checks the runner. His 3-1. This might find its home over the first baseman's head, and does. Shallow right field. Runner off to third base. Artigues will be in standing up. Back-to-back singles for Tulane to get things started in game 2.
See just how strong Grant Witherspoon is. He got that way in off the handle and just able to muscle it up outside the infield. Got it over Lockhart's head. Hollis made a run at it, but nowhere near close. That's purely off the handle there by Grant Witherspoon. Well, Tulane's coming out. They're going to swing. They're not going to lay back on Aaron Fletcher, the pitcher of the year, and allow him to get ahead 0-2, 1-2 in these counts and dominate the strike zone.
These teams know each other very well. Competitive series. Houston leads the all-time matchup. 47 wins against 37 losses. Again, Tulane took 2 out of 3 in the regular season. Now Trevor Jensen comes to the plate. The first baseman settles in the very back of the box. Won't swing at the first pitch, and it's outside. He's a junior hitting 300, 48 starts on the year. 12 doubles, 8 home runs. That's good for second on this club.
49th start of the year for Jensen. Only 30 strikeouts on the season, yet he's only taken 10 walks. He'll try to put it in play. Anything right now should get a run in, even a double play.
Fletcher's offering 79 miles an hour.
A little bit of an uppercut there, maybe trying to ride one out of here. He's got 8 home runs on the season. Break on that. Yep, he was looking to get it up in the air. He's trying to get that sacrifice and bring Artigues in from third base.
Now Fletcher has what he wants from Lovelace. You're 1-1. Reared it back and blew it by him there. 89 miles an hour on the stadium gun. And Jensen's behind in the count.
Well, he's going to have to shorten the swing up now, down to the count with 2 strikes. Here's what they didn't want, and that was Fletcher starting to get ahead in count, starting to dominate the strike zone. They went at him in early counts with Artigues and Witherspoon, but Jensen's got to shorten up.
And he does. You can see the end of the bat. We'll go back over, and diving back in is Witherspoon.
We got the best 2 base runners on base right now. Artigues not going anywhere, obviously, at third, but Witherspoon 13 of 18 on stolen bases.
Tulane dangerous at the plate. 2nd in the league in doubles, 4th in home runs. Fletcher trying to keep them off balance. This one's nubbed to third. They'll go for the runner at home. Got to apply the tag, and they do. Big time play for Houston after letting the first 2 on with singles.
Well, Artigues probably not sure if that was going to get through. Hesitated a little bit coming down the line at third. Made for an easy play for Triolo, and Lovelace, see, made a nice job just blocking off the plate. Right to third. Would have rather had him hold up. Right in the heat of the moment, just not sure where the ball's going to go. Big one there, because now you cannot rely on a fly ball to get a run in. You've got to get a base hit here to get Witherspoon in.
That'll bring up Grant Matthews, heavy hitting sophomore, 367 on the year, though he's making just his 21st start. Nice to have a powerful left-handed bat in the lineup for Coach Travis Jewett. 2 on, 1 out. Fletcher fakes the throw back to second.
Matthews probably the most disappointed player not to see the Memphis Tigers in Clearwater. His 4 home runs all came against the Tigers 2 weeks ago down at Turchin Stadium. But an average hitter, a hitter 4 average at 367, only 11 strikeouts in 35 games now, his 21st start of the year.
Time called by Lovelace. He'll trot out to talk with Fletcher, now in his 3rd season. Defense for the Houston Cougars here in their first matchup. Bilamovic in left field, Paget in center, and there's a champion in right. His name's Will. Triolo, Cold Iron on the left side of the infield, Hollis and Lockhart on the right, Aaron Fletcher on the hill, and Lovelace behind the plate.
One of the more solid defensive teams in the league at .977 on the fielding percentage. Just 48 errors on the year, and they've turned 48 double plays.
Defense comes set. Tulane would really love to open up here, maybe put something in the gaps, get on the board early. Matthews looks at called strike one.
Well, I think if you want to get to Fletcher, you better get to him early. If he settles in, he's going to be very, very tough. When Fletcher saw Tulane earlier this year, 6 innings, 8 hits, a pair of runs, 1 earned, 2 walks. He struck out 5. That was that 2-0 loss. So Fletcher kept Houston in the game. They just couldn't manage any runs.
He's quickly behind in the count now. You mentioned the home runs at Memphis, a 3-home run day, the 15th time that's happened in school history. Right across the plate, and Fletcher very sharp there. Hoping to maybe induce a double play, get himself out of the inning. Keeps it low, bounces off of him towards first base, and nobody's going to be out. So an infield single, the 3rd hit of the inning, and there's a Green Wave player at every base.
Tough one for Fletcher. Bounced off the back hip. It looked like the left hip, as we'll take another look at it.
How'd he get a piece of that ball? Just went across the plate and got it.
Just a little soft liner, hit it in the right place. But as you mentioned, that's a 3rd hit. Now remember, Witherspoon got jammed, was able to muscle off the handle. Matthews ricochets one off the pitcher of the year, and Aaron Fletcher. Golden opportunity. All 4 Green Wave batters have reached base. Their only out came at that tag play at the plate when Lovelace took the throw from Triolo to tag out Artigues. They've got to make something out of this with Cody Hosey coming up.
The pitching coach looks familiar. It's because he is former UCF head coach Terry Rooney, now one of the lead assistants under Todd Whitting at Houston, talking with his pitcher of the year, Aaron Fletcher.
He's done a nice job with the pitching staff. Combined .337 team ERA for the Cougars. They only walked 178 batters in 485 and 2/3 of an inning, while striking out 445, and again allowing just that .228 batting average against.
Rooney heads back to the home dugout on the 3rd base side. Cody Hosey settles in with the bases juiced and only 1 out.
Hosey dangerous. 5 home runs, not bad, but 13 doubles on the season for Hosey. If he puts one in the alley here, he could clear the bases.
Fletcher being very deliberate. Now he's ready. Hosey with a big cut after this one. They'll say he foul tipped it.
I know they like to use their power, but at this point would like to see Hosey maybe shorten up on the swing, just shoot one out there if he wants to drive in a pair of runs.
Hosey, just a sophomore, one of 2 players on this Green Wave team that has started every game along with Grant Witherspoon.
Fletcher not in as bad a trouble as you may think. Yes, the bases are loaded. There's just 1 out. That's just the 13th pitch of the inning that he's thrown. So they've not been able to really elevate the pitch count as much as you may think.
Outfield playing straight away for Hosey. Fletcher checks the runner at 3rd. Won't offer at that one. Tulane with some quality victories on the season. Won a couple of series in American play as well. 9 wins, 14 losses for the Green Wave. 2015, they were the conference champs in the American, #1 overall seed. Puts this one on a line out into center field, should score the run. And coming in is Witherspoon. And Tulane takes a 1-0 lead early on here on an RBI sac fly by Cody Hosey.
Hosey did a nice job, got into it, elevated the ball where he wanted to, picks up his 33rd RBI of the year as Witherspoon comes in. The other runners stay But they get the run on the board. That was important because you've got Luke Glancy sitting right at the Mendoza line at 200 on the season.
Maybe it's the bright Florida sunshine, but the Green Wave are seeing Aaron Fletcher very well. That pitch was low and on the outside part of the plate, and he drove it all the way into center field to sack the run in.
Fletcher comes into the game, 16 walks, 75 strikeouts. Walked 2, struck out 5 again in that 2-0 loss against the Green Wave earlier this season.
So 2 on now, 2 out for Luke Glancy. Glancy on the year hitting 200, 13 starts, 27 appearances. He's got 11 hits and 11 runs scored. So in limited appearances, worked himself into the starting lineup. Prime RBI opportunity for him. Lifts this one into the air, left center field. Should be playable for Paget. No, he'll be called off by Bilomovich. And that's the end of the inning. 1 run on 3 hits, 2 left on. Tulane draws first blood here in Clearwater. We'll be back for the bottom of the first.
When it comes to learning at Tulane University, there are no boundaries. Architects and scientists in New Orleans, doctors and public health experts in Africa, history and language scholars in Latin America, legal students and professors in Europe, business students in Asia. Tulanians are all over the globe, and the world is their oyster. We've got that, and a lot more, right here at Tulane University.
Nothing Tulane, bottom of the first, and the Cougars coming to the plate. We take a look at the starting lineup for Houston in today's Game 2 matchup. Bilomovich at the top with Paget, Triolo, and Lockhart through the heart of the order. Joe Davis, all-conference performer in the 5-hole. Hollis, Cold Iron, and Wendell champion 6, 7, 8, and Lovelace rounding it all out at 9. This is a good hitting team, Jeff, but they're also good at generating runs as well. Good with sacrifice bunts, good at sacrificing runs in through fly balls. They've got a tall order up there on the hill, though, and 6'8" fireballer Keegan Gillies.
Keegan Gillies this season has really done a nice job. Despite the 5-6 record and 13 outings, does have a complete game, a 3.39 ERA, 29 walks to 57 strikeouts, a 220 average against. Made the American Conference Honor Roll back on March 5th following 7 innings against Cal State Fullerton, where he gave up just 4 hits, 1 run, a walk, and he struck out 5 in that ball game. A 9-3 Tulane win. A big kid as well, as you can tell, on the mound. Put on just a few more pounds to make a really nice collegiate tight end. 6'8", 243. If he can get up to about 260, they might try to get him over in the football field.
Gillies offering, catches the bottom of the strike zone. That'll even it up 1-1. I was looking through their batting statistics to see if they ever put a bat in his hand. You know, a lot of leverage there at 6'8", 240 plus. Takes a look to the leadoff hitter, Bilomovich. Pops it up, but fouls it into the grandstand.
A lot of college teams have the rule that if the pitching staff throws a shutout, then the pitchers get to take BP. So I'm sure he's one that begs for the shutout so he can get up there and get a bat in his hands.
Breaking ball to Bilomovich finishes high. He's hitting 282 in his sophomore season with 3 doubles, 1 home run, 13 RBIs. He's a good run producer, though. 23 runs scored on the season for the left fielder. Puts this one in the air, gives it a charge to left field. Bilomovich has blasted one into Frenchies. And Houston ties it up. A leadoff home run for Tyler Bilomovich. And we're 1-1 here in Clearwater.
Well, he knew it when he hit it. That was a no-doubter. Turned on that one. Well, we'll see if he hung it up there or went after a fastball. Second home run, 14th RBI of the year. But when it took off, there was no doubt about it. We don't have nearly the win that we had 4 hours ago in the UCF-ECU game. Just went at it, fastball. He turned on it. He guessed right.
Gillies gives up his 8th home run of the season. And we've got a brand new ball game. Somewhere Ricky Henderson is smiling. Leadoff home runs are a beautiful thing. Our first home run of the tournament. Grayson Paget steps in and looks at called strike one.
Oddly enough, kind of opposite of what we thought we'd have, as Lane generated the run in the top of the first. Sat a hit off the handle off the pitcher.
This will be a play for the third baseman, Hosey, over to first in time. A little slow roller on the left side of the infield, but Hosey cleaned it up and gets the first out of the inning.
Nifty play by Hosey. Really had to rush that one because Paget really racing down the line. Laid down the bunt. Not a bad bunt, but a really nice play. Had to wing that over the mound. He had to go behind Gillies as well. Back to my point, Tulane fighting off some hits in the top of the first. It was Houston that played long ball to tie it up.
Now Jared Triolo comes to the plate. Triolo with a hefty batting average at .360 on the year. Started every game for the Cougars with 11 doubles, 4 home runs, and 24 RBIs.
Has an on-base streak right now of 20 games, trying to stretch that out here through the tournament. Heavy sticks coming up in Triolo, Lockhart, and Big Joe Davis.
So now Keegan Gillies gets himself back ahead in the count. Gillies with 13 starting appearances on the year. Fouls this one back into the screen, and he stays ahead in the count, 1-2. 5 wins against 6 losses. The great thing about Gillies, not only does you have that long delivery to the plate, it's tough for batters to pick him up. They're hitting just .220 against him. Triolo late on this one.
And the ball gets there quickly if you're at the plate, and that big frame comes forward to you once he extends that arm. 60 feet, 6 inches shrinks very quickly.
Gillies to Owen. Can't quite get the call. Key player in the ball game, of course, Jared Triolo. 17 stolen bases, 38 runs scored, and hitting .360. 2-hopper picked up by Gazzo. Sal Gazzo's throw is on target for the second out of the inning.
Nice job by Gillies, though, after giving up that leadoff home run. Has come back to give a couple of ground outs, one on the bunt. Here's a look at the defense. It's Tulane this year. Fields 972, 56 errors on the year. Delancey, Witherspoon, Johnson in the outfield. Owens behind the plate. Jensen, Artigues, Gazzo, Hosey around the horn, and Gillies on the mound.
5 underclassmen in the starting lineup for Tulane today, including 4, make it 5 sophomores. Gillies ready to work against Lyle Lockhart. Little one-hopper to the plate there. Cleanup man hitting .295 with a team leading 16 doubles. Base is empty with 2 outs. Lockhart looks at called strike one.
Nice job yanking down on that 12-6 breaking ball. Has a lot of action with those long arms.
So Gillies ready to work. What's interesting is that Houston came into the ball game just 15 home runs in American Conference play. They lead off one here from Tyler Bilamovich to even the ball game up. This one's pulled right side. Nifty pickup by Jensen over to Gillies. And after the leadoff home run, 1-2-3 goes Keegan Gillies, but we've got a new ball game, 1 apiece. Let's go down to the third member of our broadcast team in Haley Outen, who's here at Spectrum Field.
Hey guys, exciting game heading into the top of the second inning, tied at 1, and we have fans on this broadcast watching all the way from Houston to London. So comment in our comment section. Let us know where you're watching from and spending your Tuesday afternoon with us. We appreciate it. We're looking forward to a great game and continuing that fan interaction. So let us know where you're watching from.
Thank you, Haley. I get the feeling that the viewers in London, maybe Prince Harry and his new wife, the Duchess.
Taking some time off the honeymoon to watch some baseball. What we had already? London, Greece, Scotland, Australia already today.
I'd like to give a special shout out to a guy in New Orleans. I was flying out of the New Orleans International Airport, and the guy who drove me to the park was JS with Park and Fly. Big Tulane Green Wave fan. He's a big fan of Louisiana baseball in general. So a shout out, his Green Wave got on the board early here today.
Well, we'll see how this game continues here. Again, Houston kind of playing that Tulane style with a home run. Tulane manufactured that run. Bottom third of the order coming up for the Green Wave. As Ty Johnson, Gazzo's 227, but ACO and only 196. So the vast part of this production really is traditionally for Tulane going to come in the middle of the order. Again, Fletcher, even though he gave up a few hits in the first inning, they weren't able to really elevate the pitch count as much as you would think. Just 17 pitches thrown by Fletcher, so he's not in bad shape at all.
He'll take on the 6'3" right fielder, Ty Johnson, who comes to the plate for the first time today. And Fletcher, after giving up 1 run on 3 hits, comes back out for the second. Johnson watches the breaking ball come across for called strike 1. In the regular season game at Tulane, Fletcher threw 6 innings, only gave up 2 runs, 8 hits, 5 strikeouts, and still took the loss. That was the first game in that doubleheader. So obviously a little extra added momentum for him coming into this game.
And he did that in just 7 innings in that 7-inning ball game. Played the 7 and the 9 on Sunday afternoon.
Waits on the breaking ball, just through the webbing of Triolo's glove, and that'll be a single to lead things off for Ty Johnson, but kind of hobbles around first base once he gets down the line.
Triolo thought he had it lined up, thought he had the glove in perfect position, glanced off the web and in left field. So let's see, we've had a hit off the handle by Witherspoon. Matthews hit it off the hip of Fletcher and just thought he had it right there and just glanced off the webbing into left field.
That'll bring Sal Gazzo, the shortstop, to the plate. Sophomore's hitting .227.
Tulane's got to be feeling good. Got already 4 hits right now of the pitcher of the year. Doesn't matter what they look like or how you get them.
Check swing into the back of the net.
And I still like the aggressiveness of Tulane. They're not sitting back, not letting Fletcher get ahead in a lot of counts, even though he did get ahead of Johnson 1-2, not letting him establish too much and get in a rhythm.
Looked to me like Johnson was kind of hobbling around first base. He's got a nice lead here on the left-handed pitcher. Gazzo hits this hard but foul down the third base line.
Johnson's got 5 steals. Don't know how he'll run if he's hobbling a little bit. Lovelace has only thrown out 7 of 38 from behind the plate.
Gazzo has 23 runs driven in on the year, 9 doubles. Staring in against Fletcher. The infield comes set. And Aaron will throw over to first base.
And it's interesting now in this game. And they did not know this in the earlier game, UCF and ECU, because nothing had been determined, didn't know the full forecast. All of a sudden, the dynamic of this game changes because you've got to turn around and play tomorrow, win or lose.
Fletcher looking for his first strikeout of the ball game. Won't chase that one.
Tournament, when you have good weather, you're going to have it the whole weekend. If you win on the first day, you get that day off. But now all of a sudden, with the 6 games tomorrow, you're going to have to turn around and play tomorrow. That'll change probably a few moves, at least the thought process, once you start coming out of the bullpen.
Johnson now with a good lead over at first. The 1-2. Fouled again. 89 miles an hour by Fletcher. Fletcher had wins earlier this season at Cal State Fullerton. I believe they just won the Big West title. Wins against San Diego, Columbia out of the Ivy League, Memphis in league play, also USF, Wichita State, and ECU. Beat the teams that counted. Helped his team win a regular season conference championship. This one's pulled foul past the third base coach.
Nice little skip out of the way down there at third. Got down there on him quickly. Again, Tulane not taking a whole lot of pitches early on.
Gazzo comes set in the back of the box. Swings through this one, and Fletcher's got himself a strikeout.
First strikeout of the game for Fletcher, who came into the game 75 strikeouts and 84 innings against only 16 walks. They needed a strikeout there. That'll set up the double play with a sub 200 hitter and AC Owen coming up.
Another left-handed bat comes up for the Green Wave with a man on and one out. The junior catcher will have to wait as Fletcher throws back over.
Again, Tulane runs okay this year, 45 stills. But remember, it's Artigues and Witherspoon that have 23 of the 45 so far this year. Johnson just 5 steals on the year.
That one comes up over us in the press box. The Greenies on the year averaging 9 hits a game and 6 runs a night. Already have 4 hits, off to a nice start.
Again, no surprise what they're going to have to do this week. They're just going to have to outscore their opponents, get in some slugfest.
Lefty again throws over to first. Owen on the year, 27 hits, 7 of them doubles, 2 home runs, 19 runs driven in. There's Ty Johnson. Short leaf off first right now. Beautiful breaking ball. Tails away from the left-hander. And now he's ahead of the count, 0-2. Last year, Tulane was 0-2 in this conference tournament against the Florida schools. In the opener, they fell to USF 7-5 and then lost to UCF 8-3. Certainly off to a nice start here against the conference champs. Fletcher's 0-2, a little too bit far outside. And Johnson will head back to first base.
Now, Todd Whitting's team is going to play composed out there in the field and all together. Again, playing in every conference championship game. Any upperclassman here knows how to navigate their way through the tournament field in Clearwater.
Lovelace keeps that one in front of him. Otherwise, Johnson would have moved up into second.
And Lovelace, a freshman, playing in his 44th game, 30th start of the season for the freshman catcher for the Houston Cougars. Has done a nice job back there this year.
Could be a very nice career for him in the Bayou City, getting all of those starts as a rookie. The 2-2. Over the head of the shortstop, cold iron. The 5th hit of the ball game for Tulane, and they're cooking with something here. Just 1 out in the second.
And that's probably their most solid hit so far of the day as AC Owen goes opposite way, trying to run it in on the inside. So we see it now, and that begins to tail on the outer half. Nice effort by Cold Iron, but he had no chance at it. Now first and second. Tulane for a second inning in a row, finding some base hits. Now they'll flip it back to the top of the order, and Artigues with his single to lead the game off. And now it's a 21-game on-base streak. But one thing for Lovelace, who we're talking about getting all the starts as a freshman, you know, with Todd Whitting and Terry Rooney there, he's always going to catch a lot of quality pitchers, so that's going to benefit him.
Fletcher stares in at Jonathan Artigues. One time through the lineup, and Tulane got 5 runners on. Takes a look at called strike 1. Artigue singled into right field. Johnson with the liner to get things started here in the inning. ACO and Phil followed him up with the single, and now Artigue's trying to drive one or both of them in. Just got a piece of that one. 79 miles an hour by Fletcher, who has showcased some pretty nice breaking stuff early in this game.
Tulane would like to take advantage again with a runner in scoring position. Less than 2 outs. They were able to scratch that run out an inning ago.
So Artigues calls time, steps back out of the box.
Fletcher kept his pitch count down an inning ago, but it's starting to rise up there now. This will be the 34th pitch of the game here in the first inning and a third.
Sun really beaming down on the field. Artigues laces this one into center field. It's going to drop. Coach Jewett will send the run around. The throw won't be in time, and Tulane takes the lead again. An RBI single for Jonathan Artigues.
Artigues' 35th RBI brings in Johnson as Owen will go to third. Nice job of hitting there. Send it out into right center field. Paget, when he went over to cover, did you see to the left, ball took a funny hop, and a nice job just to get the bare hand out and knock it down. If that ball gets past him, A.C. Owen scores, and Artigues likely standing at third base. So a nice job of Paget to bat that ball down in center.
That'll bring up a dangerous hitter in Grant Witherspoon.
We're about to get into some meat of the order of Witherspoon. Jensen's got 12 doubles, 6 for Matthews, 13 for Hosey. Remember, they're 17th in the NCAA with 115 doubles.
Won't offer at Fletcher's first pitch. Witherspoon ahead in the count. Paget in center field, shaded a little bit closer to left here for Witherspoon at the plate. Grant looks on, runners on the corners, only 1 out. Fly ball to the outfield makes it a 3-1 game. Popped him up. This could stay in play. Lovelace has a beat on it, runs out of room, right into the net.
Now hit that padding on the wall on the third base side. Nice effort there. That net kind of hangs back a little bit, so it can go over the wall a little bit and make a catch, but just glanced about 10 feet up. And that took the ball out of play. We'll take another look at it.
This would have been a huge out.
Oh, did everything he could to try to take it away. First team all-conference center fielder Grant Witherspoon has new life. Remember, he fought the base hit off his hands an inning ago. Just got it over Hollis and Lockhart off the handle in the right field.
So Owen standing off third. Artigues at first. Witherspoon trying to add to his prodigious RBI total. Currently standing at 46 to lead the Green Wave. Fletcher comes set. The 1-1. Low and hit on a line. Paget going back. It's well over his head. 1 run's going to score. Motoring into second is Witherspoon. He wants more. 2 runs have scored. Witherspoon standing up at third with a 2 RBI triple. Huge at bat for Tulane's center fielder, and they lead it now 4-1.
Second triple of the year for Witherspoon. RBIs 47 and 48. I'm sure they'll tell him to slide just to make sure next time, because Triello nearly caught him on the back end there. Nice job again by Paget playing the carom.
That ball was right down the heart of the plate, and he just drove it on a line into deep center field.
Well, again, Tulane continues to be aggressive here with Trevor Jensen. And now Jensen doesn't anything but a ground ball up the middle or a fly ball to expand this lead.
Still 1 out. Reached on a fielder's choice in his first at bat, swinging on the first pitch, and it's fouled over the grandstand.
We have a chance. We'll say hello to Linda Tagman out of Montesano, Washington. We have people all over the country, and so Linda Tagman out there watching on the American Digital Network on Facebook.
Fletcher checks Witherspoon over off his shoulder at third base. Jensen won't offer there.
And a little action in the Houston Cougar bullpen. They didn't think they would have to get that bullpen up so early with a pitcher of the year on the hill. Not the first time you've seen that in conference tournaments, though. You remember you're going on a little bit shorter rest than you would in your regular rotation.
Jensen clobbers this one a long way to left field. It's over the wall. A home run for the Green Wave, and they lead it 6-1.
We told you earlier that the offense could be the X factor for the Tulane Green Wave. If they could get hot this weekend and just outslug opponents, they're going to have a chance to really make their way through the bracket. And they're doing that early on. They were aggressive in the first inning, not sitting back, waiting for something to happen. They continue to take the initiative.
Not a lot of wind to help that one. That was all Jensen, his 9th home run of the year, in Tulane, putting on a show here in Clearwater. That'll prompt an arm up in the bullpen over the left field wall for the Cougars. Now Grant Matthews comes to the plate, looks it called, strike one.
I knew they would be aggressive. They would be able to score this weekend, but I don't think anyone thought it would be 6 runs on 8 hits. We're not even out of the second inning right now on Aaron Fletcher, but Tulane continuing to swing the bat well. Also, hello to Harold Shaw out of Galveston, Texas, and Mark Calloway watching up in Missouri, as well as Greer Ferguson in Suffolk, Virginia.
This one's fouled back. And some help from a friend on Twitter. Grant Matthews' dad, Tommy, played at Tulane from 1982 to 84 and left as the single season and career leader in home runs. Tommy Matthews also a teammate of Eric Lane for 2 years. Tulane has done a nice job here. 6 runs on 8 hits through 1 2/3 innings.
Blake Gillies watching in Washington, D.C. right now. Got to be happy with what he sees.
Fletcher, breaking ball, just not as sharp as it needs to be today. And that'll run the count full.
Probably not nearly as happy as Keegan Gillies is watching this unfold. When he gets out, he's going to have at least a 5-run lead to work with. Talk about a guy that's going to be able to come out and pound the strike zone.
Matthews with an infield single earlier, takes a walk. He's on base twice today.
And for all the hits that Fletcher's given up, 8 hits, that's the first freebie he has allowed so far. Usually you can get away with giving up some hits. It's the freebies that cost you. But now when it's 8 hits over an inning and a third. So we'll see if this starts to compound on Matthews, who's now on base for an 8th consecutive game, bringing up Cody Hosey, who drove in the run of the sac fly an inning ago.
2 arms up now in the bullpen for Houston as Terry Rooney comes out to talk with his pitcher of the year. 35, Kyle Ott, and 40, Nolan Bond are both warming. There's Coach Jewett. And you see the arms that were up. Travis Jewett now in his 2nd season. Jewett, a graduate of Washington State back in 1993. He's 51-62 overall. Numerous D1 stops, including Washington State, Washington, and Arizona State, along with Gonzaga. So a West Coast guy.
Had a lot of success, though, up at Vanderbilt. That was his last stop before he took the Tulane job. So 13 through 16, he was in Vandy.
Not what you would expect, but a new pitcher coming into the ball game as Aaron Fletcher will head down. Tulane up 6-1, looking for more when we return here on the American Digital Network.
Oh, that ball is hit deep, left field, way back. That ball is gone. Double play ball potentially striking Stalls over to first. In time, double play, and that ends the game.
Power comes in all forms.
Power is a big tackle,
a big save,
a clutch hit,
and a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
Power is respecting an opponent, officials,
student athletes, coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
profanities, or other improper actions
while at the game.
The American.
Power.
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 Power for life.
5 runs in the inning has prompted a pitching change, and now Kyle Ott is the new pitcher for the Houston Cougars. His team trails 6-1.
He's made 18 appearances this year, all out of the bullpen, a 3-0 record, no saves, a 4.50 ERA, 16 innings, 11 hits, 8 runs all earned, 14 walks and 19 strikeouts, a 200 average against. He's thrown 4 wild pitches. He's hit 4 batters on the season. So Kyle Ott now going to take over for the Houston Cougars. And as we were talking about earlier with the schedule change, John Whitting going ahead and making the quick change here because all of these teams in the entire field are going to have to turn around and play on back-to-back days.
So Ott, who previously played in the Big 12 at Baylor and was born in Galveston, Texas, is behind in the count 1-0 as Cody Hosey comes back to the plate. Hosey garnered an RBI back in the first inning. Runner on first base is Grant Matthews for the Green Wave. Count evens at 1.
On April 15th at Tulane, through 1 inning, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, and he struck out winning that 5-3 win for the Cougars. Nice. Wow. It's a just down on the low inside corner.
Ott is a graduate transfer, played 3 seasons at Baylor and got his degree. Hit hard on the ground, picked up, could be 2. Across the diamond for the twin killing. Nice job there by Kyle Ott to induce the ground ball play, and the defense backed him up. 5 runs in the inning for the Tulane Green Wave, though. Couple of extra base hits, and they chase the American Pitcher of the Year in Aaron Fletcher. Triolo to Hollis to Lockhart, and they're out of the inning.
Well, he needed that as well.
Well, let's go downstairs to Haley Outen.
With a 5-run lead to work with, Tulane sophomore right-hander Keegan Gillies. He's made huge improvements from his freshman year to this year. He was a short reliever as a freshman in 2017, and he's worked himself, or I should say he worked himself at the beginning of the season into the weekend rotation. He started as Tulane's Sunday starter, then moved up into that Saturday role because of his consistent performances throughout the season. He's gone at least 6 innings in 6 starts, and he's posted an ERA 4 points lower this year compared to last year. So the sophomore, he's having a great season, and his team will look to hold on to the lead here in the bottom of the second.
Young man has done very well here early on. Let's see if he can quiet Houston's bats and really put some pressure on the Cougars, who tied the ball game up with a leadoff home run in the first by Tyler Bilamovich, but have since given up 5 runs in the top of the frame.
Yeah, they talked about some of the longer outings he's had. His long outing of the year, his complete game at UConn on April 28th, where Keegan went 9 innings, 6 hits, a run was earned, a walk, and 8 strikeouts with 128 pitches. But even early in the season, 3 consecutive starts, he went over 100 against Purdue in a 7-inning game, 113. At Long Beach State, 103, and then Cincinnati, his first conference start, 112 pitches. So he's got the ability, especially now with a 5-run lead, pound the strike zone, stretch himself out on day number 1.
Leading things off for the Cougars will be all-conference selection Joe Davis. The DH settles in, and this will be power on power here. Gillies to Davis, and the fastball comes across, called strike 1.
Joe Davis with 7 home runs this year. He sits at 29 career home runs. That's 3 shy of the all-time record.
Owen sets up on the outside part of the plate. The count evens up. Davis, a junior now, freshman season, all-conference selection as well. Tries to barrel one up out of here, but it's going to tail foul a long way into left field.
One hops the bullpen grill out in left field. Tomorrow, a ball hit like that may interfere with one of the other games going on.
Gillies, and the 1-2 gets away.
Joe Davis right now tied with Chris Snyder for the 29 home runs. Snyder played from 2000-2002. The next guy he'll tie at second will be J.P. Woodward. Played in the late 1990s. And Pat Hughes, the all-time lead with 31.
Reared back with the fastball. Clean pickup by Gazzo. Low throw, but dug out by Jensen. Huge play by the Green Wave first baseman, and that's the first out of the inning.
Nice dig over by Jensen, keeping Davis off first base. Davis, though, if they reach base of Davis, he's a guy you've got to push around the bags. He's recruited to hit home runs, not steal bases, but still you keep the leadoff man off the bags.
So the second baseman, Connor Hollis, comes to the plate for the Cougars. Looks at called strike one. Hollis, 282 hitter in his senior season. 15 doubles, 19 runs driven in. He's also scored a team high 43 runs. Late on the fastball at 90 miles an hour, fouled back into the screen. Tulane, a great club defensively, and Gillies, if he can just kind of pitch downhill, not necessarily pitch to contact, but keep it low, should be able to garner some outs.
And just 56 errors on the year for the Green Wave, 972 fielding average. Playing with a 5-run lead.
He's staying ahead of every batter he's facing. The 1-2 is fouled back. Houston as a team hitting .256. They came in with 24 home runs total. 1-2 lifted into the air. Witherspoon's got a long way to go, and it's going to get past him into the gap. Hollis on his horse into second base, standing up. A 1-out double for the Cougars.
Well, 2 hits for Houston, both extra base hits. The leadoff home run by Milomovic an inning ago. Now a 1-out double for Hollis, poked it into center. I like the line that Witherspoon took on the ball, though. He knew he wasn't going to get to it, able to get back. That kept him at least to a double. If he doesn't take that line on the ball, maybe skips all the way to the warning track, and all of a sudden Hollis standing at third.
Senior shortstop Cooper Coldiron at the plate now. Gillies' offering is outside. 87 miles an hour on that last pitch.
And if something hurts Houston, it's the bottom part of their order right now. All sub-200 hitters right now.
Left that one out over the plate. Diving effort by Glancy. He says he's got it. And they'll call him out.
What a play by Glancy in left field, making up the ground. Looked like it was going to be hit all the way for the 184 hitter.
Let's take a closer look here, Jeff.
He got a very good jump on it. Sticks in the web, and if it didn't, he did a nice job to roll the correct way to shield it.
5-star play by the outfielder, Luke Glancy. That's an important second out here in the inning. Now Wendell Champion will come to the plate, starting right fielder for Houston. Champion on the year, hitting 182 as a sophomore. This is just his 10th start of 2018. Breaking ball comes across on the right-hander, called strike one.
That goes back to what we talked about. Gillies can pound the strike zone. He ripped that ball. Glancy picks him up very well. But right now the 5-run lead can continue to throw a few of those. Bottom third of their order. They have 87 doubles, Houston does on the year. With the 24 home runs, with the bottom 3 have managed just to 4 doubles on the 2 home runs.
Champion even in the count, 1-1. Late on that one, 84 miles an hour.
Glancy, who made the great catch, leads off the third for the Green Wave.
Just 9 starts for Champion. He's played in 18 games. 3 times this year he's had multiple hits. Did it twice at ECU. Last time he did it, 3 hits against Tulane. Gillies comes set. Just got a piece of that one to foul it back.
No one happier about Glancy's catch in left field than Deborah Fortenberry, Keegan's aunt, watching from LaPlace, Louisiana.
LaPlace,
Louisiana.
Just on the north side of the lake. Have to drive through there from Baton Rouge to get down to the New Orleans airport. This one's hit on the ground. Left side. It'll find its way into left field. They'll send the run around. And scoring is Connor Hollis. RBI single for Wendell Champion. That'll make it a 4-run game, and Houston inches closer.
Just a 6 RBI for Wendell Champion, and that's a big one right there with 2 outs. Houston doesn't need to put up a 5-run inning. They just need to start chipping away, settle down on the mound, and start clawing their way back into the ballgame. You get a lot of baseball to be played. We're just in the bottom of the 2nd inning right now.
Already seen 8 runs and 11 hits combined here in the bottom of the 2nd. So Keegan Gillies takes a deep breath and now will face the catcher, Kyle Lovelace.
Trying to chase the 12-run, 18-hit game we saw earlier today.
Little square to bunt, but Lovelace pulls it back. Champion on the year, 2 for 2 in the stolen base department. Gillies will have to hold him close. The 0-1 is outside. Lovelace hitting 168 on the year. This is his 30th start. 16 hits, 1 of them for a double, 4 RBIs. And it's that kind of production, Jeff, that's going to allow Houston to get themselves back into this ball game. I know they had the leadoff home run by Bilamovich, but that was just his 2nd of the year. Hitting the ball out of the ballpark is not really Houston's MO. Generating runs, sacrificing, and finding good spots in the gaps is what they do best. Lovelace ahead in the count. Hammers one into left field. They'll hold the runner, Champion, at 2nd. Houston's put together back-to-back hits.
Well, the bottom third of their order trying to come through here. Remember, Cold Iron lined out on a great play by Glancy and back-to-back hits by Champion and Lovelace. So they're starting to pick things up. You remember, Champion just a sophomore at this 10th start of the year. Lovelace a freshman. So don't expect the huge numbers out of them this season. They'll progress as their career goes along. Now they've done a nice job to flip the order, set up the top of the order of Bilamovich again, who hit his 2nd homer of the year to lead off the 1st.
2 innings, 2 at-bats for Tyler Bilamovich, who stands in with 2 on and 2 out.
Well, if he comes through here, they've cut that lead in half.
This one momentarily gets away from Owen. Owen, strong throw across the diamond. Tag applied? No, not in time. A split second too late, Jeff.
Had the throw there, it looked like Gazzo got the tag down. Champion able to get his arm in there. Thought he was going to eat it there at first because Champion got that big secondary lead off 2nd. I thought he was going to let him get back to the bag. Took the risk, though, and nearly paid off.
Momentarily got away from Owen. Right on the money, though. Just got it back in. This ball's lifted into center field. Should be playable for Witherspoon. 1 run will come across, but Tulane puts out the rally. And they maintain their lead 6-2 over the conference champions. We'll be back with 3rd inning action here on the American Digital Network.
When it comes to learning at Tulane University, there are no boundaries. Architects and scientists in New Orleans, doctors and public health experts in Africa, history and language scholars in Latin America, legal students and professors in Europe, business students in Asia. Tulanians are all over the globe, and the world is their oyster. We've got that, and a lot more, right here at Tulane University.
Houston Cougar fans in the building here at Spectrum Field in Clearwater, Florida. Tulane has taken a 6-2 lead, top of the third action, and Kyle Ott back out for his second inning of relief.
Maybe in a little bit of shock, they found themselves down 6-1, now 6-2 early in this ball game, thinking Aaron Fletcher will be able to really set the table. But Tulane came out very aggressive. I would imagine they would try to stay aggressive against the reliever Ott out of the bullpen. Again, if you're just joining us here on the American Digital Network, a schedule change tomorrow. We'll have 3 games here from Spectrum Field. Games 3, 4, and 8. Games 5, 6, and 7 will occur at the same time over at Robin Robertsville. Unfortunately, we won't have those on the ADN, but we're trying to get every game that we can in this tournament with the weather coming later this week.
Luke Glancy will lead things off here in the third. Reaches for one on the outside part of the plate. Hollis will have to hurry over to first and gets it. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Well, Ott's gotten 3 outs and 2 batters coming in relief, so he's done a nice job. Got the 5-4-3 double play to end to second. A first pitch out here always helps as well.
That'll bring Big Ty Johnson to the plate, right-handed batter. Singled back in the second, scored a run. Stares down at his third base coach, now steps in.
Big kid. It seems like everyone on Tulane's ball club, big kid, big guy. They're not kids anymore. They're big guys, including Gillis, the pitcher. Ty Johnson.
Stares in at Ott.
6'3", but hard to believe only 196. That's a lot of muscle on that 196-pound frame.
Maybe at the beginning of last fall.
He's put on a little bit.
Infield deep for Johnson. Looks at the 1-1. Puts it in the air to left center field, and it will drop. A 1-out single for Ty Johnson. He's 2 for 2 today for the Green Wave.
Well, at 6'3", with that frame, you can go after one a little bit out of the zone, a little bit high the ladders, high, kind of tomahawks. It dropped a little bit there in the zone. Nice job. Just got the barrel out there and moved ahead of the bat very quickly. Good bat speed for a guy that stands 6'3".
Sal Gazzo staring back into his dugout as his assistant coach sending in some signals. Struck out back in the second inning, looking for his first hit of the tournament here with a man on and only 1 out. Ott's fastball's got some good zip on it, and it's called strike 1.
I mean, they're a hit away from having double-digit hits in the first 3 innings against one of the better staffs in the American.
If you're just joining us, Tulane chased the American Conference Pitcher of the Year after an inning and a third. Aaron Fletcher allowed 6 runs on 8 hits. 2 of them were for extra bases. Gazzo steps back in. Big hole on the right side for the lefty to pull it through. They'll fire back over to first base instead.
They seem to have excelled everywhere today. Tulane has on offense, but really once they put the runners on base, 6 for 10 with runners on, hitting .600 early in this ball game.
Here's your 1-1. Foul tips it at the plate. Ott, when he was at Baylor over 4 seasons, made 60 appearances. Had season-ending Tommy John surgery in 2015 and took a red shirt. Graduated and now spending year 5 with the Houston Cougars. He's had a nice campaign. Fires over to first and Johnson walks back in. Ott was a 4-time Big 12 All-Academic team member. And that's just lagniappe. You know, that's the icing on the cake that the coaches want from you, to take your student-athlete responsibilities to heart. You're 1-1. Sometimes I guess a coach could be wary about taking a transfer. Not really when it's a graduate transfer. You've got a guy who's graduated on time while playing a sport that demands a lot of your time.
He's not going to be any trouble. He's played at a high-level school in Baylor. He's only going to be able to help you out.
Behind in the count, 2-1 here to Gazzo. Won't offer at that one.
And especially in the state of Texas, Todd Whitting, the other schools, whether you're in the Big 12 or the American, they've all recruited these guys. So you know the history of most of these players when they're playing in the Lone Star State well before they went to college.
Nolan Bond, number 40, continues to warm for Houston, and now Carter Henry, number 17, a sophomore right-hander, has gotten up over the wall. The payoff pitch, and the runner takes off. Almost ran into Johnson. They'll throw this ball off of him, and everyone is safe. Hollis came in, tried to flip it to his shortstop cold iron, and Johnson got in the way. Big smile on his face there out at second base as well.
I know trying to make a great play here. You're down by 4 runs, but you're just better served to make that play at first base. Trying to make the quick flip, and he got between Johnson and cold iron, the shortstop. As he looks over the dugout and says, "Oh yeah, I'm safe." Little stutter step there in front of Hollis made all the difference.
Lovelace went out to talk with his pitcher, Kyle Ott. So Gazzo reaches on the fielder's choice. That'll bring up A.C. Owen, the catcher, who singled past the shortstop and scored a run in the second.
It'll be a fielder's choice, as you mentioned, Garrett, for Gazzo. Johnson does reach second on the air by Hollis.
Ott stares in. 2 on, and the Cougars won't hold them on with 1 out. Owen came into the game hitting 196, 1 for 1 today. I don't know who Mendoza was, but he's approaching that line. Infield comes set for the Cougars. Breaking ball finishes at 77 miles an hour and out of the zone for ball 2.
Mario Mendoza, former major leaguer, I believe career 200 hitter. But hey, he's going to be remembered forever.
Well, so was Bill Buckner.
Right. It's like the Tin Cup line. Everybody's going to remember this great 15 or whatever he hit on 18.
Ott with good size up there on the hill at 6'2", 215. Needs to throw a strike here to the lefty Owen. Just misses the zone on the outside part of the plate.
Oddly enough, his career average was 215 in his career. The term actually came through in the Mexican League. He ended up playing for Pittsburgh and Seattle and the Texas Rangers, but it kind of stuck with him.
Tulane with series wins in American play against Cincinnati, U of H, and Memphis. Took 2 of 3 from the Tigers right in the middle of May. And then did not end the regular season the way they wanted. Of course, got in 2 games against UCF, but had their final game of the regular season canceled due to weather.
Well, they had that 7 seed that looked like all the way through nearly the end of the season, as you mentioned, before the rainout.
Owen hits this one hard. It'll be fielded by Hollis over to first in time, and that'll move both runners over, just as good as a sac bunt.
Well, made the safe play there. Wasn't going to take any chances. Trying to make that quick double play an inning ago. That's going to flip it back to the top of the order. If they get a 2-out hit here, they can put 2 more runs on the board, expand that lead to 6 runs. They're going to talk it over with Ott. They may be making the change as Terry Rooney's coming out of the dugout again.
He'll bring in the infield. Art Teagues, who's 2 for 2 with an RBI, looking for his third at-bat in the third inning. Terry Rooney could stay with Ott, and instead he'll make the change. The third pitcher of the ball game coming over the wall for the Cougars here with 2 outs in the top of the third.
Oh, with Aaron Fletcher starting, they didn't think they'd be in the bullpen this early, much less down to up to their second pitcher. And again, you got to flip this thing really quick now tomorrow with the format moved up a little bit due to the impending weather later in the week. Every team will be playing back-to-back games again, as we told you earlier, just to set you up for the bracket tomorrow. And here's how it's going to go down. We're going to be on the American Digital Network. We're going to start it at 9 o'clock tomorrow. And that will be game number 3, and that'll be here on the American Digital Network. So will game number 4. That'll be at 12:30. Then the next game of the American Digital will skip all the way to game number 8. That is going to be a winner's bracket game of 3 and 4. So the winners will actually play a doubleheader. Meanwhile, behind left field over at Robin Roberts Field in the Carpenter Complex, they'll start it off at 9 o'clock with the game 5. UCF waits for the loser of this game. And then they'll play game 6 at approximately 12:30 and game number 7 at 4 o'clock. And that's how it sets up for tomorrow. We'll see Carter Henry now coming in for the Houston Cougars. It'll be their second reliever out of the pen here this afternoon. And Carter Henry, 5-1 in 25 games. He's got 6 saves, a 2.00 ERA, 45 innings, 32 hits, 15 runs, 10 earned, 21 walks, 49 strikeouts, a 205 average against, 7 wild pitches, and 5 hit batters on the year for the right-hander.
205 against sounds pretty good to me. Well, let's go back down onto the field with Haley.
Hey guys, so we're going to do a little Jeopardy version here. I'm going to use my best Alex Peck impression with some trivia for our fans. So this American Conference team has played for the conference title 4 times and left Clearwater as champions twice.
All right.
I have to answer in the form of the question, right?
And so if they're responding on Facebook, you need them to answer as well in the form of a question. Should be an easy one. We'll see if you get it.
The new pitcher in the ball game is Carter Henry, 6'4", 215 pounds, out of Port Neches, Texas. So Henry will come in after Kyle Ott went 1 1/3 in relief. Didn't give up any runs, gave up 1 hit, but he is responsible for the 2 runs that are on board right now.
Well, he started out pretty well, got the 5-4-3 double play to end last inning, got a first pitch out against Glancy, but a single, a fielder's choice. There was an error in there that advanced the run. That has not cost them a run yet, nor would it have cost them with an extra runner on now. Oh, and then grounded out, but just want to make the switch here before they face Jonathan Artigues, who is already 2 for 2 with an RBI and a run scored. Taking a look around the skies, and we have some stuff a little bit to the south of us, so trying to dodge this rain as we were able to in game number 1. Had a little bit of a delay to game number 2, and hopefully everything stays around us here in Clearwater and allows us to continue to move unimpeded here in this one. We've got a pretty big cell to the south of us, down to the St. Pete area.
So Jonathan Artigues comes to the plate with 2 in scoring position and 2 outs. Here's Carter Henry. First pitch. Artigues won't swing there. Singled twice into the outfield, had an RBI in the second, later came around to score a run.
That was a good dig by Lovelace. He's got to be very mobile back there. Henry again with 7 wild pitches of the season.
Artigues came around to score on that 2 RBI triple by Witherspoon. And I believe that evens the count 1-1. So Ty Johnson standing off third, Sal Gazzo, who reached on a fielder's choice, standing off second. Henry's 1-1. Breaking ball, 74 miles an hour.
Took a lot off that one. As he just caught it off the handle, we can hear a little bit of that thunder in the background. So trying to complete this inning here and then see what happens.
Tulane with a 6-2 lead. Plenty of cloud cover here in Clearwater right now.
Wind kicking back up to left field as well.
Tulane offense has just one strikeout in the ballgame so far. Henry ahead in the count. Won't offer it that one. Good eye by Artigues at the plate. And they'll throw down to third base just to keep everybody honest. Green Wave scored 1 in the first, 5 in the second, trying to push a pair across here and elevate their lead.
A 2-out base hit would be huge here. 2-out runs really can suck the life out of the other dugout. Big momentum changers here, and you can really keep Houston back on their heels if Artigues comes through.
35 runs driven in on the year. Swings at the 2-2, committed late and fouls it over the right field side. Do we have an update on the trivia question, Haley?
Sir, and I love how it was phrased from Brandon Ham. Who is Houston?
Artigues won't offer it this one, and that'll run the count full. I believe now we have an update.
We do. We had a great answer from Brandon Ham, and I love how it was phrased. He answered, who is Houston, rather, and that is correct. Houston has played in the conference title game 4 times, and they've left Clearwater champions twice.
Love the trivia. Keep it coming. Houston has won all 4 of their conference openers as well. So every year in game 1 in the tournament, they've come through. Artigues blasts this one into shallow right center field. 2 runs are going to come across to score, and Tulane running away with it here, 8-2 on a 2 RBI single by Artigues.
Oh, Jonathan Artigues, he's just set everything up today. That's his 3rd hit, his 3rd RBI of the season. He got things going with the leadoff single in the first. Picks one out, drives it into right center field with 2 outs. Both Johnson and Gazzo going, so there's no doubt they're going to get in to score. Artigues putting on a clinic. In fact, the top 4 in their order, Garrett, have reached base every single time they've come to the plate.
Witherspoon coming to the plate after lacing a 2 RBI triple in his last at bat. Today's 2 for 2. Third pitcher of the ball game for the Cougars, Carter Henry. Gives up the liner into right center field. Those 2 runs come across. Well, one of them reached, but they both were able to touch the plate. Some rain starting to fall here in Clearwater. We have a weather update with Haley.
Been monitoring.
Sounds like rain is playing havoc with her microphone. This one's lifted into the air, left field. Bilamovic at the track, right in front of the wall, makes the 3rd out of the inning. So a long, loud out there. But 2 runs come across for the Green Wave, who lead it by 6 over the regular season champion Houston Cougars. Keegan Gillis will come back out onto the hill with a 6-run lead when we return here on the American Digital Network.
Oh, that ball is hit deep. Left field. Way back. That ball is gone. Double play ball potentially striking Stalls over to first. In time, double play, and that ends the game.
8-2, Tulane with the lead and some heavy thunderclouds. You should see the radar up here in the booth. It looks like a Technicolor dream for Jimi Hendrix. We got some rain coming. But right now in the bottom of the third, we continue here with the Green Wave up 6 runs on Houston.
Had the shower between games, and again, I want to commend the grounds crew here at Spectrum Field. They had the tarp on immediately following the UCF ECU game, and now they're coming out to check with the umpires because it's not so much the rain early on. They will make sure there's no lightning within the area.
Paget, Triolo, and Lockhart due up here. 2-3-4 for the Cougars. Paget tried to drop a bunt but was eliminated by the third baseman Hosey on a nice play from the hot corner. And the grounds crew coming down through the stands, getting close to that tarp. This is the only game scheduled remaining today. You'd like to see them play as much as they can, but you don't want to have washed out conditions either in a game that means so much.
We've got a little light rain already falling here.
1-1 pulled to the right side of the infield. Gillis covers first in time. Second time today that he's covered his position. And that's the first out of the inning.
Good job by Gillis. He had to get there in a hurry. Jensen had to go range way to his right, and Paget got down the line a little bit quicker than they probably initially thought, but a nice job, as you said, by Gillis to make up the ground.
That'll bring up Jared Triolo, the third baseman. One of Houston's hottest hitters. Came in hitting .360 late on that fastball at 87 miles an hour. Well, you'd have to go back a couple of years, but in this tournament, we've seen some very tall pitchers who have had dominant performances. Gillis offers here. Late on the fastball, it's lifted into right field. Playable for Ty Johnson. Makes the catch for the second out. Rutgers, back in the Big East days, had a pitcher-hitter named Charlie Law. Charlie was 6'10", and was able to see him not only pitch and win a ball game, but drop a couple of home runs in this ballpark as well. So you can have a guy with a bat in his hands at 6'10". That's certainly an advantage.
Any relation to Vance Law, former Expos, Cubs, Dodger third baseman?
Maybe a cousin.
Vance was nowhere near 6'10". You never know.
2 outs in the inning, nobody on for Lyle Lockhart Jr.
A little bit more steady out here with the rain at this point.
Gillis takes a deep breath. Lockhart, who was retired to in the first, is behind in the count 0-2. Right side of the infield, back on the grass. Gillis wastes a pitch on the outside part of the plate. Artigues and Jensen literally playing in shallow right field. Gillis working quickly. 1-2, and Lockhart won't chase it.
Look, he lost his grip on that one, wanted to backdoor it on him, just stayed outside. Maybe been trying to go with that circle change.
16 doubles on the year for Lockhart. Pulls this one foul right off the tarp in right field. Houston was able to salvage the series in the regular season against the Green Wave, who won the first 2. They won 5-3. Would love to have been in attendance for game 1. 17-16 won by the Green Wave. 2-2 late on this fastball, 87 miles an hour.
Yeah, Garrett, you wouldn't think if you talked to somebody and said we lost a 1-run game, you'd think it'd be 1-0, 2-3. Oh, tell me about the 1-run game. 17-16.
Oh, there were 33 runs, bro. Just misses. and that'll run it full. This one's heading back up the middle. It'll get into center field. A 2-out single for Lockhart. And the rain falling more steadily now here in the Tampa Bay area.
Nice job by Lockhart, and really that's something big for them right now, trying to catch up, extend the innings as long as you can. Just a nice roller up the middle. Gillis not in bad shape at 45 pitches, but the more you can get that pitch count up, maybe a chance to get into the bullpen in a little bit. But so with a 6-run lead, Gillis doesn't mind a 2-out single.
Lockhart's first offering there to Joe Davis is outside. Davis retired to start the second inning, grounded out to the shortstop. This one's fouled and capped off the end of the bat. That first game we were talking about in the regular season, 17-16, Tulane trailed that game by 10 runs, 12-2, rallied back to win it. Davis stands in, hitting .295 and lost the grip on his bat. Swung hard through that one at 89 miles an hour.
A little more pine tar with this rain coming down. He's chasing Pat Hughes, who had 31 home runs. You see right there, and just that lead hand, the grip came off of it.
Gillis checking the runner over his shoulder. That breaking ball finishes high.
Boy, he's been right down the middle on his total home runs in his career, splitting them on the road and at Schrader Park. He's hit a pair of neutral sites as well.
77, so he put the brakes on that one, and Davis just gets a piece. Temperatures dip down to 75 degrees here at Spectrum Field. Gillis just trying to get his team back to the dugout. This one's hit on the ground. Past the glove of Gazzo at shortstop. And the runner will hold. Lockhart will not advance from second to third, but back-to-back hits for the Cougars.
You wouldn't think a pair of 2-out singles would be that big of a deal, but Connor Hollis, who's coming to the plate, had that 1-out double an inning ago. If he can drive one to the alley, Lockhart will score. Davis likely would end up over at third. They may have something going here in the bottom of the third. Again, they've got a long way to go, down 6 runs, but you just chip away. What you've got to do is you got to keep Tulane off the board right now.
So a big at bat coming up for Connor Hollis. Right-hander stands in, already 1 extra base hit in the game. Hollis grew up in Arlington, Texas. Lamar High School, 5'10", 170. Has been an all-academic team performer in the American Conference. This one's popped up, and it'll find the chairbacks on the right field side.
Well, let's see what Gillis wants to do. If he wants to waste his pitch here against Hollis, if he wants to come right at him. Again, Hollis hit the double an inning ago. And had it not been for Glancy's diving catch against Cold Iron, they could have put a few more runs on the board.
Off the glove of Gillis, and everyone is safe. Bases loaded on an infield single by Connor Hollis, the 3rd hit in a row off the Green Wave starter.
3 2-out singles, and now Cooper Cold Iron, who had a hit taken away by Glancy an inning ago, could drive in a pair here and close the gap. Knocked it down, but ricochets too far away for Gillis to make a play.
Certainly saves a run with a play like that, making contact with the ball. Can't argue here. The most important pitches of the ball game for Tulane coming up right now. 2 outs, bases loaded, and Cooper Cold Iron stands in. He would have had a single back in the second, but a 5-star play by Glancy robbed him of a hit. Waits on the breaking ball. Opposite field, puts this one up in the air, and Artigues will glove it. And Houston strands the bases loaded. Tulane retains their 6-run lead. We'll be back for more action with the Green Wave at the plate here on the American Digital Network.
7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power Six conference known as the American.
Power comes in all forms.
Power is a big tackle,
A big save.
A clutch hit.
And a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
power is respecting an opponent, officials,
Student athletes, coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments.
Profanities or other improper actions.
While at the game.
The American.
Power.
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 Power for life.
Game 2 with the Tulane Green Wave up 8-2 over the Houston Cougars, the 8 over the 1 seed, and top of the 4th with the Green Wave coming back to the plate.
Well, the matchup today was going to be Tulane's offense versus the pitching of Houston. Right now, it's the Green Wave offense. They have banged out 10 hits today on 8 runs with an 8-2 lead going to the 4th inning. And right now, it's not so much Houston trying to catch up, although they need to. They've got to keep Tulane off the board. They've scored in every inning. The big 2 runs in the 3rd after Tulane had closed it to a 4-run game, or Houston had closed it to a 4-run game, now expanded it to 6. And it came by way of another 2-out hit. Jonathan Artiques today has been the hot bat for the Green Wave, 3 for 3 with 3 runs batted in.
That'll bring up the Florida native, Trevor Jensen. The junior stands in out of Dunedin, Florida. A little ways up the road here on the Gulf Coast. Home of the Toronto Blue Jays during spring training. Beautiful little ballpark out there. Jensen in his 3rd at-bat. Looking for his 2nd hit of the game. Blasted that home run over the left field wall in the 2nd. Evens in the count, 1-1.
Jensen, another one of the Green Wave. Those top 4 batters have been on base every plate appearance with the exception of Witherspoon, who flew out to end the 3rd. Big story for Tulane as well. The bottom third of their order, who are all 281, 227, and 196. They've been on a combined 4 times this afternoon. Jensen again, a fielder's choice back in the 1st. That 2-run homer in the 2nd, part of the 5-run 2nd inning for the Green Wave.
Jensen stares in, and the payoff pitch by Carter Henry is on the way. He'll draw the walk there as that one gets away from Lovelace.
3rd time today that Jensen has found his way on base. Matthews has reached base now in 8 straight games with a single and a walk.
Just the 2nd walk given up by the Houston pitching staff and the 1st by Henry. Now Grant Matthews will come to the plate.
Jensen just 1 stolen base, so no real threat right here for the Green Wave to take off.
Matthews with a nice day here in the conference tournament so far. Been on base twice, infield single and a walk. What we haven't touched on is how tough the schedule's been for Tulane this year, ranked top 10 in the country. 37 of their 55 total games against teams in the top 100 of the RPI. Tried to get that one to sneak back in against the left-hander, but Matthews is now ahead in the count, 2-0.
They kind of redid the RPI this year with the grouping, and in Group 1, if you're 1 through 50, you just mentioned 27 games or 9 and 18. They played 13 more games in Group number 2, only 3 games in that group that included 101 to 150. So they loaded up the schedule this year.
Henry comes set, man on and nobody out. And this one gets past Lovelace, fouled back to the net.
5 sophomores in the order today for Coach Hewitt's Green Wave. I know I had to grind through this year, but he's got to be excited with the youth of that team coming in next year, playing such competition this season.
Matthews gets into this one, and it's going to drop. The 11th hit of the ball game for Tulane. On his horse is Jensen. He's into third. They're going to wave him around. Jensen's going to try and score from first, and he does. Grant Matthews with an RBI double, and Tulane leads it 9-2.
Left it out over the plate, goes opposite field into left center. He spit Bilomovich and Padgett. No real doubt that Jensen was going to be able to score once they got into the alley. And how about the top 4 in the Green Wave order today, Garrett? 9 hits in the top 4. They've drawn up hero walks, a fielder's choice, 1 fly. They've reached base 11 out of 12 plate appearances.
Jensen's been on base all 3 times today and now has scored 2 runs. That'll bring up Cody Hosey. Hosey trying to make up for grounding into a double play in the second. Drove a run in the first. Almost wore a pitch there, backs off, and it's 1-0. Green Wave fans with a lot to be happy about early on in this ball game. 9 runs on 11 hits now for Tulane. Still nobody out. There's a home run cut by Hosey. Foul tips it back into the mid.
Just on top of it a little bit. Thought that was going to stay up just a little bit more than it did. He drove himself an RBI into the first on a sack.
Hosey still just a sophomore, one of the team leaders in doubles with 13 on the year. And that one sails across for called strike 2.
Grant Matthews doubled. They're now 8 of 15 with the runners on, 5 of 8 runners in scoring position. So hitting .533 with runners on base this afternoon.
3rd inning in a row that Nolan Bond, right-hander, is warming in the pen for Houston. He was actually up before Henry started warming. This one breaks down Lovelace, but he keeps it in front of him. Nice play there by the freshman.
He's been active so far this afternoon. He moves well behind the plate, laterally to his left and his right.
Matthews, standing off second base, has scored 20 runs on the year. This one a little bit low. Well, with first base open, I don't know if Hosey's going to see much to hit here. Standing on deck is Luke Glancy, hitting around 200. Got to have a keen eye here against Henry.
Side, that caught a piece of him.
That hurt. I think that might have got him on a kneecap.
Yeah. Looked like the inside of the right knee.
Couple of pitches inside against him in that at bat, and Hosey's going to get hit here. Boy, that hit him flush on the knee on the right leg. Looks like that's our first hit by pitch of the ball game for either team. And he is in some serious pain.
Now that's a tender spot up on that knee. You're going to check it out. Make sure everything's okay.
Last thing you want to do is lose your starting third baseman.
I would say the good news is he ran away from it and now obviously it hurts, you're in pain, but he didn't collapse at the plate, so hopefully everything's stable. It looks like it is. They check everything out. He's going to pull the sock back up. So it looks like Cody Hosey is going to remain in the ball game. They'll give him a chance to jog it out here.
At the same time, a light rain falling here and has been for about 20 minutes. You'd hate to think that Henry doesn't have as secure a grip on the ball as he would like. Terry Rooney is going to head out to the hill to talk with Henry in his infield. And I believe a change is going to be made. So for Houston, their 4th pitcher of the ball game and 3rd in relief will be coming in. Looks like the new pitcher will be Nolan Bond.
You mentioned Bond's been up 3 consecutive innings, so he's had to warm up, settle back down, then loosen back up a couple of times. That's the game you play early in a game like this, is not to throw a little too much.
So Bond coming out from behind the left field wall. We'll tell you more about him and who Tulane is about to face, looking to add to their 7-run lead here in the top of the 4th. We'll be back after this on the American Digital Network.
7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
Oh, that ball is hit deep, left field, way back. That ball is gone. Double play ball potentially striking Stalls over to first. In time, double play, and that ends the game.
Fourth pitcher of the ball game, third in relief for the Houston Cougars, who have given up 9 runs on 11 hits. 6'6", 205-pound junior Nolan Bond.
Right-handers out of Spring, Texas. Bond this year has been used sparingly. 8 outings, 2 starts, a 3.86 ERA. He's 0-1 with no saves. 16 in the 3rd inning. Pitch 14 hits, 8 runs, 7 earned, 6 walks, and 12 strikeouts. A 250 average against no wild pitches, but he has hit 4 batters on the season and has not pitched against Tulane this season.
Well, I don't think at any point Houston is going to concede this game, but at the same time, they're using a young man to get some outs here and maybe preserve their bullpen for later in the tournament. Trying to keep this game as close as they can, but Tulane has just put a lot of pressure on them offensively from the get-go. So now Bond will work to Luke Glancy, who's made a nice play out in left field. Glancy at the plate today, 0 for 2. Looks at called strike 1.
Put to left field in the first. He grounded a second to lead off the 3rd. That was the inning after he made that diving play in left.
Swings through that one, and the count goes to 0-2. Bond has twice been on the American All-Academic team and made his first career start last year in the NCAA Houston Regional game against Texas A&M. Won't offer there, and the count goes 1-2.
Oh, nobody out. Glancy would like to put it in place somewhere just to move these runners over to second and third. You have Johnson and Gazzo did very well. Bottom third of their order again with 3 of the base hits.
This one's fouled back to the plate. Hosey will not be held on first after taking one off his right knee. Houston just looking for an out here. Seems like the innings are so long when Tulane comes to the plate. They scored 1 in the first, 5 in the second, a pair in the third, and have 1 run across here in the 4th. Glancy late on this one and fouls it back. Believe it or not, Glancy the only Green Wave player not to reach base today.
The fly out and the ground out.
Ty Johnson standing on deck. Still nobody out. Bond stares into the freshman catcher Lovelace. Pounds this one into center field. Long run for Paget. And makes the Willie Mays catch over his shoulder. Unbelievable. Houston is going to double off the runner at second base. The throw to first in time. Wow. Can you believe it? A triple play by the Cougars, and Tulane leaves a pair on. How about that, folks? That's the way to get out of the inning. Tulane with one run across. They're up 9-2, but Houston with one of the best plays you'll ever see.
I for sure thought that was going to get over Paget's head. What an incredible play.
Makes the catch. Second and third doubles him off, and we're headed to the bottom of the fourth with the Cougars coming to the plate.
When it comes to learning at Tulane University, there are no boundaries. Architects and scientists in New Orleans, doctors and public health experts in Africa, history and language scholars in Latin America, legal students and professors in Europe, business students in Asia. Tulanians are all over the globe, and the world is their oyster. We've got that, and a lot more, right here at Tulane University.
Seven-run game with Tulane on top of Houston 9-2. And if Grayson Paget has ever made a better catch in his life, I'd love to see it. Watch the junior here.
It jumps off the bat. We've seen the wind blow some balls today in the alley, and I honestly thought he had no chance to catch it. Lunges up, slams the wall. Meanwhile, Matthews and Hosey had taken off. They didn't wait just to make sure it got down. That's what cost them the triple play, and we just got to see the first triple play in the American Conference Championships.
Pretty impressive there. Gillis back out on the hill, his team leading by 7, and he'll face Wendell Champion to get things started here in the fourth inning.
Still relatively early in the ball game. Let's see if they can swing the momentum a little bit for the Houston Cougars.
Champion now looking at a 2-1 count. Wendell in the 8-hole today had an RBI single back in the second. Gillis did a nice job of stranding the bases loaded to end the last inning. This one's hit hard by Champion in the air, but the play is made by Witherspoon for the first out of the inning.
About 30 minutes ago, when that front was starting to move through, the wind was kicking up. Not as heavy as it was now, so the ball not carrying quite as much. Nice jump by Witherspoon to make that play in the alley.
Bottom of the order, and Kyle Lovelace coming to the plate, singled into the outfield back in the second inning, but was stranded on, not able to come around and score. Lovelace looked back at the home plate umpire. Behind in the count, 0-1. Fastball, and this one's lifted back behind the stadium. He's behind in the count, 0-2. Even with that triple play, that was a long inning for Houston to be out in the field. They're quickly up and down here in the fourth. Gillis's breaking ball just missed.
You know your offense is playing well when you have a triple play, yet you still manage to score a run in the inning. They've scored in every inning this afternoon.
.70 pitches. This one's hit on the ground. It'll have to be a quick throw by Hosey over to first in time as Jensen makes the glove.
That really fooled Lovelace. That short arm, I mean, he never got his arms anywhere near extended. Just jammed him inside and the last second tried to pull it. Let's take a look at this pitch. Breaks late, did all he could do just to try to get that bat head through, rolled it off the handle over to Hosey.
Kind of had to stand up and swing off his front foot. Now 2 outs and nobody on. Gillis working quickly to Bilamovich. And I'm sure he remembers how the game started with that solo home run over the left field wall. There was some good zip on that fastball.
Sent it up into the 3rd row of Frenchies. Won the entire first game with a very stiff win out the left field with no home runs. We've had 2 here. Milamovich's home run, and then Trevor James with a home run in the second for Tulane.
Count is 2-1 as Gillis ready to work again. This one's popped up, and if we had a net, we could make a catch out of play.
I'm sure the players today down here in Clearwater appreciate a little bit of the cloud cover, keeping the heat off of them early in the weekend. Before we get to the weekend, it'll heat up, no doubt, once we see the sun.
75 pitches for Gillis. 2 runs on 5 hits. Ready to walk off the hill there, but Bilamovich hangs tough. Not a lot wrong with that. Finishes low, but across the plate. Your payoff pitch. And he walked him.
Real quick, Jeff Roscoe is in Bear Creek, North Carolina. That's near the home of the legendary Rick Jones, former Tulane head baseball coach. Took him to 12 regionals, a pair of College World Series. Still pulls for Tulane when he's not pulling for his Pirates. So again, hello to Jeff Roscoe.
Coach Jones put in the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame in 2017. Wonderful career. 2 outs, 1 on. Grayson Paget with that great catch in deep center field. Fouls one into the mid. Paget 0 for 2 today.
Ground out the 3rd. Yeah, ground out the 1st and ground out the 3rd today for Paget.
Wind picking up here. Flags look to be blowing out from right field to center. You saw the temperature drop with all this cloud cover and the expected storm cells coming through. Gillis 1 pitch from getting out of the inning. 81 miles an hour there on the house gun. Nice job by Paget to hang tough. Came into the ball game hitting .260. 7 doubles, 3 home runs, and 15 runs driven in. This one could drop. No, it hangs up in the air for Tulane to make the catch. Johnson gloves it, and that's the end of the inning. We're 4 complete with Tulane leading 9-2. We've got some updates down on the field with Haley Outen. Well, we have a chance to go down on the field with Haley.
Well, I was really excited about this trivia question that I had for you guys and our fans. I've been waiting for this opportunity, but then in the last inning, we saw that amazing triple play by Houston, so it impacted this question a little bit, but it's still good, so I'm going to give it to you guys. Which school, other than Houston, was one of previously just 16 in the country to pull off a triple play this season?
Wow, good question.
See if you guys...
Comment on the Facebook Live is what she was going to tell you. If you're watching, give us your comments. We'll relay it. Haley will relay it once we get a correct answer on the Facebook Live. And we do thank everyone for joining us on the Facebook Live comments. I want to make a note, if you're not into the comments, you can hide those, disable those, but we love the interaction, so make sure to send in your comments and questions you have for either Garrett or myself or Haley down on the field this afternoon and all week. And again, to have the schedule adjustment tomorrow, there'll be 6 games out here in Clearwater. We'll have the 3 that are here at Spectrum Field here on the American Digital Network.
I'm 2 for 3 on these questions. I'm going to guess the 3-seed UConn. Just love Jim Penders' club, always well coached. They've got a big game coming up tomorrow against the 6-seed Cincinnati. We'll also see Wichita State and USF. The 2nd-seeded Bulls will take on the 7th-seeded Wichita State Shockers. Should be a great game to get things going.
We'll start it off at 9 Eastern tomorrow morning, as Garrett just mentioned, with Wichita State and USF.
So here's Ty Johnson to lead things off in the top of the 5th inning. His team leading by 7. Let's get the update on our trivia question, Haley.
We had some good guesses, but Miles Patrick was the winner. He was correct. The triple play for Tulane against Texas Southern on April 24th.
Wow. 2 triple plays in this. So Houston and Tulane this year. Pretty impressive. Johnson retired there on a pitch. That'll bring up Sal Gazzo.
So Tulane's been on both ends of that, the good end and the bad end.
Gazzo, the 8-hole hitter, reached on a fielder's choice, scored a run in the 3rd. Lifts one into the air. Settling under this one will be Paget, and he makes yet another put out. 2 outs quickly now for the Tulane offense, which has not gone 1-2-3 today. Neither team has gone 1-2-3.
AC Owen got a single back of the 2nd. He would ground to 2nd in the 3rd. And they're looking for the first scoreless inning against the Green Wave.
Owen, bottom of the order, looks on, called strike 1. This one's lifted opposite field. Long run coming in for Bilamovic. He'll call off the shortstop, and Tulane goes 1-2-3 and scoreless for the first time today. We're 5.5 complete, coming to the bottom of the frame with Tulane leading by 7. Houston bats when we return here on the American Digital Network.
7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
Power comes in all forms.
Power is a big tackle,
A big save.
A clutch hit.
And a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
Power is respecting an opponent, officials,
Student athletes, coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments.
profanities, or other improper actions.
While at the game.
The American.
Power.
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 Power for life.
Welcome back in. Tulane 9, Houston 2, and the Barstools at Frenchie's filling up here for our Game 2 of the 2018 American Championships. Keegan Gillis with a nice performance so far against the regular season champion Houston Cougars. 8 times this year, Gillis has gone 5 or more innings in his starts. He's 5-6 on the season. And with 3 outs here, will become your pitcher of record for Tulane, who leads 9-2.
Been solid, the pitch count moving up a little bit. Gillis now at 79 pitches and 54 strikes. Again, we told you he's been able to go deep into some games, so should be in good shape right now. And if you can get a 7-8 inning start out of Gillis on day 1, especially now playing back-to-back games, to save that bullpen would be huge. You'll have to go through the heart of the order here, and Triolo is 0 for 2. Right now has a 20-game on-base streak on the line.
Just over 80 pitches in for Gillis, and that's called strike 1 against Triolo. The third baseman stands tall, hitting out of the 3-hole today. He's quickly ahead in the count, 0-2. If you can preserve your bullpen a little bit, you could be set up pretty well for Tulane, whether you'd see Caleb Roper or Ben White. Possibly might see Josh Bates, all of those guys with plenty of starts on the season for the Green Wave. I think he just missed out on knocking one out of the ballpark here. This will finish in the hands of the left fielder Glancy. Nice strong swing there by Triolo, but he is out number 1 in the inning.
Just a little bit under, had some carry. Wind's starting to pick up. A lot of the heavy stuff we talked about is blowing over toward the base. Still just a little light stuff in the area, but still the wind could affect some balls here.
Now number 24, Lyle Lockhart, will come back to the plate. Left-handed hitter, is 1 for 2 today. Had a single into the outfield back in the 3rd inning. And you can see the wind picking up. The flags flying stiff out through center. They're going to send him down to first base. A hit by pitch by Gillis, and Coach Jewett, I believe, wants to say, hey, he didn't make any attempt to get out of the plate, or did that hit the bat?
Looked like it kind of caught him on the forearm, at least initially. We'll see. Ryan Drury made the call, the home plate umpire, talking to Coach Jewett right now. Not going to change anything. He'll stay at first base. Just in time, Rudy Alvarez, Joe Davis high school coach, watching from Austin.
That might have hit the knob of the bat. I'm going to say that got him on the hand instead. Joe Davis comes to the plate now, and Gillis starts him off with ball 1. Davis 1 for 2 today, single. Infield comes set against him with a man on and 1 out. There's a home run hack, and he's late.
And chasing that all-time home run record, just 3 away.
Davis with that 300 batting average might be able to really put some distance between the home run record and the rest of the Cougars if he came back for his senior season. Might have some pretty interesting draft prospects as well as a right-handed hitter with good power. Davis fouls this 2-1 back, and that'll even the count. Davis has 40 runs driven in on the year. Couldn't square that one up. Late on the fastball. It'll be foul out of here. Lockhart, standing on first base, has scored 31 runs on the season. That's second only to Connor Hollis on the team. So obviously good wheels, can run. Gillis holding him pretty close. Davis with the 2-2 fists it down to the 3rd baseman. Could be 2, and the dig isn't made at first base by Jensen. That throw pulled him off the bag a little bit, and that'll keep the inning alive. But the Green Wave do cut down the lead runner, and Davis reaches on a fielder's choice.
Well, so Davis on base out, fielder's choice. 2nd time today that Joe Davis has reached base.
Let's go down to Haley. We have trivia answers.
Do not have any trivia answers, but I did want to answer the question of Rebecca Walsh as for when East Carolina would play tomorrow when it comes to the winner of this game. And that game has been moved to 12:30 p.m. Eastern, and that will be at the complex just next door. So that game will not be televised on the American Digital Network, but we will definitely be keeping everybody updated throughout. So winner of this game plays ECU at 12:30 tomorrow.
Connor Hollis looks at this pitch down low. So 6 games being played tomorrow. 2 were on the schedule. Had to make changes due to the weather. And, you know, all the USF fans obviously happy to play at the Robin Roberts complex. Former coach of theirs and a Hall of Famer with the Phillies. Actually has a stadium outside of the statue outside the stadium in Philadelphia. Foul tips this one back into the mid.
Well, when you've got anywhere from 12 to 14 games to get in before Sunday, you've got to find a way to get them in. You want everyone to play their full allotment of games, especially when you have a league this year that has potentially 5 NCAA bids riding on this tournament.
Gillis comes set. Over 90 pitches now. Called strike 2. Still pretty fine with his placement there. They're not going to hold Joe Davis off of first base. Hollis looking on. He's had a great day at the plate so far. Trying to get his team back into this one. Just got a piece of it. That's the same pitch that he threw to Joe Davis, who pulled it down the 3rd base side. Polish draws that one foul. Keegan Gillis one pitch from getting out of the inning. This one's popped up. It'll be foul territory, first base side. Coming over is Artigues. And Keegan Gillis has not given up a hit since the third inning. Houston goes quietly. They leave one man on, and the Green Wave maintain their 9-2 lead. We are 5 complete.
Well, they had an opportunity. That double play got botched there. Could not make the dig. We'll see what they're able to do. But right now, you put Tulane scoreless for the first time in the top half of the inning. You're going to have to try to continue that if you're going to chip away. But right now, as you mentioned, Garrett, they're doing a really nice number here against the Houston offense. It's not scored since the second inning.
Let's go back down to the field with Haley out.
I just wanted to point out that it's been an unbelievable last month of the season, especially for Houston. Their RPI jumped from 108. So goals for themselves at the beginning of the season. One of those was to win a conference title, so they can check that off the list. Another was to win the conference tournament and earn an at-large bid to the NCAAs. And the last goal, of course, for every team is to go to Omaha. So some goals still left to accomplish this year, and a win today would certainly help that. But also, they couldn't get this done without their head coach, Todd Whitting, who was named the Coach of the Year this season. He's led the Cougs to 5 conference titles in 5 years, so that is extremely impressive. And this Coach of the Year honor 8 seasons at Houston, so a great honor.
Boy, they did a great job from April on. They swept Wichita State, swept ECU. They won 5 of their last 7. You know, the wins keep coming for Todd Whitting, who continues to push this program in the right direction.
2 out of 3 on the road at UConn was huge, too. They had a 20 RPI. That really bumped them up there later on. Had the big ranked win against 13th ranked Cal Fullerton 10-5 back on February 25th. And you talk about someone who builds a schedule every year. Todd Whitting played 22 games against top 50 RPI clubs, went 12-10 in those games.
Nolan Bond will start the inning off for Jonathan Artigues. Back out for his second inning of relief. There's a liner into shallow right field. Diving catch by Champion. Still waiting for a call by an umpire. Standing on first base is Artigues, and he is erased. Champion with a diving play in right field.
Well, it took a diving play to stop him from going 4 for 4. Second great play we've seen. Oh, that
great work.
Yeah. Champion had one in right. Glancy for Tulane had one in left earlier.
Well, a triple play in the 4th. A diving catch by Champion there. Here to start off the 6th inning. Any doubt that Houston still thinks they're in this ballgame? This one's in the air to center field. Pagic going back, and that's the second out quickly after 3 pitches.
Champions made a diving play. As you mentioned, Paget, the AAA. Now Bilibovich is like, hey, give me something in the alley or toward the wall. I need to get in on the action.
Let me lay out. That'll bring up Trevor Jensen, the first baseman, who had a 2-run home run back in the 2nd inning. He's reached base all 3 times today and scored a pair of runs. Think he feels good about being back home in the Tampa Bay area. Bond working quickly up there. Nobody on with 2 outs. Jensen gets into one and watches it go a long way down the line and left, but foul.
The one he hit in the second was a no-doubter, the 2-run homer, and that opened the game up. That made it a 6-1 ball game at that time in the second. Straighten that one out. He could get another homer. .76 miles an hour, just gets a piece of the breaking stuff.
Aaron Fletcher, Kyle Ott, and Carter Henry worked a combined 3 innings. Bond has gone the longest in this game, now working an inning and 2/3. One, two, and Jensen won't offer at that one. Just gets a piece of this one. It'll be foul down the third base line.
Bond's been very efficient since getting in the game. Of course, the triple play helps. 2 2/3, and he's only thrown now 19 pitches.
If Houston can't come back to rally in this game, it would take a monumental effort to get to the championship matchup on Sunday. Jensen fouls this one, but you would think that the Cougars have the arms to do it, especially after Aaron Fletcher, who started today's game, only went an inning and a third. He did struggle a bit, 6 runs scored on 8 hits, but maybe an opportunity on short rest. You might be able to see him on Sunday start a championship game. You'd have to feel good about his chances.
Well, then all of a sudden now you're playing back-to-back days. Somewhere in this tournament, even through the losers bracket, some of these teams that we're not expecting to get a day off are going to find an off day somewhere.
Good day to get healthy. 2-2, fisted into shallow center field, and it'll drop just in front of Paget. That ball died just enough, and the inning continues here. Jensen comes away with his 3rd hit of the game.
Stops a streak of 6 consecutive that Bond has retired at the plate, and Jensen now has been on 4 times.
That is his 2nd hit of the game. Reached on a fielder's choice back in the 1st, so he's seeing it well from the Cougar pitching staff. Bond now will work to Grant Matthews. Left-handed DH steps in. They've yet to retire Matthews today. Bond comes set with a man on behind him and 2 out. This one's hit hard. Pulled to the right side, and it's off the glove of Hollis. Both runners are safe.
Ran in a little too quick. Ran up the glove on the left side. Still nearly had a play. Yeah, just took the hop, ran up the web, off the heel, and Lockhart has had to come off the bag. If Lockhart doesn't come off the bag to corral that one, like you mentioned, Trevor Jensen had already rounded 2nd. He's probably going to 3rd.
Now Jensen and Matthews, the 3-4 hitters, have reached base a combined 8 times today. That'll bring up Cody Hosey. Hosey's driven in a run, but he's still looking for his 1st hit. There's a home run hack there, 75 miles an hour by Bond, and he's swinging through it.
240 hitter with 2 outs in an inning. Tulane today 2 for 6 with a pair of outs.
Left-hander and a right-hander up for Tulane in the pen as Gillis approaching 100 pitches for the Green Wave. This one's hit on a line into center field. Paget has a beat on it, and that'll be the end of the inning. So Tulane strands a pair. They've been held scoreless for 2 innings in a row by Nolan Bond. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th inning, and the Cougars coming to the plate trailing by 7 right here on the American Digital Network.
Oh, that ball is hit deep. Left field. Way back. That ball is gone. Double play ball potentially Schreitenthal's over to first. In time double play, and that ends the game.
Welcome you back to Clearwater, Florida. Spectrum Field at the American Athletic Conference Championship with Tulane on top 9-2. The Green Wave have pounded out 12 runs here They're back out in the field, and Keegan Gillis coming for his 6th inning of work. He has really handcuffed Houston. They've got just 2 runs on 7 hits.
1 walk for Gillis. He hasn't struck out any of the Cougars, but he's been able to pound the strike zone. 7 hits. He scattered those around. Nice job today by Gillis.
7, 8, 9 coming to the plate in Cold Iron, Champion, and Lovelace. Gillis's breaking ball finishes out of the zone.
Cold Iron squaring there just to try to get the defense to move around. Cold Iron had a hit taken away from Glancer in the diving place, popped up the second as well.
Doesn't want a piece of that, and that'll take the count 1-1. Cold Iron gets this one out to the shortstop. On the run, and the throw is made there by Gazzo.
Nifty play by Gazzo made that one look a lot easier than it really was. Moving over to his right, just a quick flip over to first base, made the turn, got himself in good position.
So now Wendell Champion will come to the plate. Champion just made a fantastic play in right field, robbing a hit in the last inning. The big man squares to bunt, pulls it back, and it's called strike 1. Gillis coming up on 100 pitches. Fastball still got some good life on it. This one in foul territory, first base side, and it will find the chairbacks. Just a right-hander up in the pen now for Tulane. This one finishes a little bit high. For the Green Wave, that is Connor Pellerin, 41. The 1-2. Breaking ball, and he hit him. No, they're going to keep him at the plate. Wow, had to wear that one. And the at-bat continues.
The 12-6 breaking ball slipped out of his hands, caught him at the shoulder.
They're going to say
waited on it. Yep.
Dove his arm into it a little bit. Champion with that RBI single in the second. Hits it hard here to the shortstop, Gazzo. Just found his balance in time. The throw across on line.
Well, we saw what he could do to his right against Cold Iron. This time he moves up and to the left. The spin move got him a little bit of momentum. It was a long way across the bag, and he had him by 2 steps.
Kyle Lovelace has one of Houston's 7 hits today. He's 1 for 2. Comes to the plate against Gillis. Called strike 1.
Well, it's been 6-3 for both Cold Iron and Champion. See where Lovelace goes.
This one's put into the air, left center field. Long run for Glancy. It'll bounce off the wall. A long double. And with 2 outs, Kyle Lovelace keeps the inning alive.
How about the freshman catcher? A pair of hits today. Singled back in the second. Doubles here in the 6th.
How close was this to leaving the ballpark? I think it caught the current and just kept going.
Yeah, off the top of the wall, yeah. Wasn't very far away. If he pulls it a little bit and gets it toward the bullpen, he may have hit his first home run.
Gillis has gone over 100 pitches for the 5th time this year. 2 outs and a man in scoring position for Bilamovic, the top of the order.
And the 128, his high this season.
One for 2 today for Tyler with that big leadoff home run to get our game going. Offers it that one at 81 miles an hour. And the count evens.
Houston's just had the inability, other than the leadoff homer in the first, to set the table. 1 out hits and 2 out hits. The only leadoff man to reach is Bilamovic back in the first, and he hit the home run.
Gillis misses his spot there. Had a breaking ball earlier that hit Wendell Champion, but they say that he dove his arm down. He was eventually retired on a hard hit to the shortstop. Nice heroic effort there by the 6'8" right-hander for the Green Wave. Won't chase the breaking ball. I'll tell you what, nice eye at the plate by Bielemavic. He saw that for what it was early and laid off.
Oh, they just get a 2-out run here, even cut it to 9-3. Still have 9 at-bats left over the next 3 innings, and you're starting to put some good innings together against Tulane.
Lovelace standing off second base. He'll walk him. Second walk issued to Bielemavic, and that'll put 2 on with 2 out.
Grayson Pageant looking for his first hit of the afternoon. If they can get the top of their order going here at 2 outs, maybe it'll pull out a run or 2.
I was thinking maybe at least a visit by the pitching coach could help settle down Gillis, who's worked deep into this game. 110 pitches now, but he's given up a walk and a double here in the inning. And for the Green Wave fans in attendance and across the world on the American Digital Network, I would give this young man a standing ovation for his efforts here today against the league champions. That can't be forgotten.
And against a very solid offense. Remember, hit 87 doubles this year. They like to get out and run. He's taken the run game away with them with 79 stolen bases. They're going to keep him in here. Let him at least try to finish this inning out.
So 2 on, 2 out. And that'll bring up Grayson Pageant, who today is 0 for 3. Pageant takes a deep breath, stands in the box. Swings through that one. Pageant on the year had started 46 games, played in 50, and driven in 15. Nice opportunity here. If he can drop something into right center field, it could go a long way. Offers at that one. He's quickly behind in the count on a pair of 77-mile-an-hour pitches by Keegan Gillis.
Now Pageant trying to fight off an 0-2, and Rebecca Walsh wondering on Facebook if a triple play can make the Sports Center top 10 tonight.
Gillis, one pitch from getting out of the inning. This one's pulled down the line, easily gloved by Jensen. He'll take it himself unassisted. And Keegan Gillis, with 6 strong innings against the Houston Cougars, maintains his team 9-2 lead. He'll head back to the first base dugout. We've got more access coming here in the top of the 7th when the Green Wave come to the plate on the American Digital Network.
When it comes to learning at Tulane University, there are no boundaries. Architects and scientists in New Orleans, doctors and public health experts in Africa, history and language scholars in Latin America, legal students and professors in Europe, business students in Asia. Tulanians are all over the globe, and the world is their oyster. We've got that, and a lot more, right here at Tulane University.
Philadelphia Phillies complex here in Clearwater, Florida. Spectrum Field, the home of spring training for the Phils as well as their minor league affiliate, the Clearwater Threshers. And today the PA being taken care of by the play-by-play voice of the Threshers, Kristen Karbach. Beautiful day for baseball now that the rain has been chased away. Clouds in the sky, but the visibility is good. And Nolan Bond is back out for another inning of relief for Houston, trying to calm down these Tulane bats. He's held them scoreless the last 2 frames. But the Green Wave has scored 9 runs on 12 hits. Luke Glancy will lead things off for them here. 6, 7, 8 coming to the plate. This one's lifted a mile high to center field. Paget will settle under it and makes the play. 1 pitch, 1 out for Nolan Bond.
Fishing there for Ty Johnson coming out with 2 hits. Will be interesting to see. And remember Gillis, we talked about him going to the dugout. He's gone 128 pitches before this year. He's used to going along, so we'll see if he comes back out, as Aunt Paula hopes he is. She's watching on the stream.
Well, for Paget's incredible over-the-shoulder catch at the track, if you can find the highlight on the American Baseball's Twitter page, then tweet it, retweet it at ESPN. So Bond there misses. 1-0 to Ty Johnson. Johnson, today's 7-hole hitter, with a couple of singles and runs scored.
That bottom third of the order's done a nice job for Tulane. 3 base hits. They've been on 4 times. Ty's got 2 of those base hits.
Bonds 2-0. Fastball at 89 miles an hour. Tulane looking to win their first game in the conference tournament since 2016, when they edged UCF 4-3. The Green Wave then fell to Houston 5-3 and 6-2. That allowed Houston to get back into the championship game, where they would fall to Connecticut. Johnson got a piece of that one, fouls it back, and the count evens at 2-2.
Able to jam him up that time. Couldn't get the arms extended.
Tulane just 3-6 all time in the tournament, but in great position now. They can get the win here against the regular season conference champions to make a run in Clearwater. Bond misses, and that'll run the count full. Opposite field, picked up there by Lockhart. He'll take it himself. That one off the end of the bat, and that'll make 2 quick outs for Bond. Bond has come in, the 4th pitcher of the ball game, and thrown 2 2/3 innings of relief, holding Tulane down a little bit after that early offensive explosion. That'll bring up Sal Gazzo to the plate with 2 out and nobody on.
Well, if Tulane can hang on here, and right now a 7-run lead, they're in really good shape. They're going to face ECU. Not sure who ECU will go, as Hole today was chased in under 4 innings out of their ball game despite getting the 8-4 win. So ECU went a little deep in their bullpen earlier today. For Patrick, Ross, and Barnes all through. Could see Agnos, Benton, Burleson, all potential starters for tomorrow.
Gazzo and Cody Hosey are the only Tulane players without a hit today, but they have all reached base. So Gazzo in the count, 1-1, stands in. .78 miles an hour there by Bond.
Well, if they can get out of this inning scoreless, Houston does have the heart of the order. Triolo, Lockhart, and Davis due up in the next inning. Might be their last best chance to do something with the heart of the order.
2-1 finishes high.
But that trio just 2 for 8 so far this afternoon in this ball game.
Really exciting what Tulane did today against the pitcher of the year, Aaron Fletcher, who was first in program history at Houston with a career ERA of 1.86. Was named the pitcher of the week 3 times by the conference. Gazzo. A diving catch made by Hollison. That will end the inning. Houston putting on a show in the field. Can they get the offense to match?
Be hard pressed to find some better defense around college baseball than you're seeing this afternoon.
Gazzo trotting to first, thinking he's got the hit, and Hollis robs him outright. 7-run game when we return.
7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
Power comes in all forms.
Power is a big tackle,
A big save.
A clutch hit.
And a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
power is respecting an opponent, officials,
Student athletes, coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments.
profanities, or other improper actions.
While at the game.
The American.
Power.
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 Power for life.
9-2, Tulane on top of Houston, and the Green Wave back out in the field here. Here's Sal Gazzo's hit at the end of the inning, robbed by Connor Hollis. Back on his horse, just in time for the 7th inning stretch, and we head to the bottom of the 7th with Tulane on top 9-2. The defensive gems continue for both of these teams.
And it looks like the day is done for Gillis. 6 innings, 8 hits, a pair of runs, both earned, 2 walks, and no strikeouts this afternoon. He ended up throwing 110 pitches, and 76 of those were for strikes. And it looks like they'll turn it over to Pellerin. It will be Connor Pellerin. Pellerin 2-1 in 27 outings, 2 saves, a 3.73 ERA, 41 innings, 33 hits, 26 runs, 17 earned, 37 walks, 42 strikeouts, 7 wild pitches. He's hit 8 batters, and some grandparents very happy for Connor Gillis. The grandmoms listening out there this afternoon. So congratulations. Looks like the Fortenberrys, the Solejos, watching on the American Digital Network as well. So Gillis, 6 solid innings for the Tulane Green Wave.
That'll bring Connor Pellerin to the hill. 6'3", 199, a freshman out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. First pitch in relief to Jared Triolo is strike 1.
A good time to make a switch here. It'll be a new look here for the heart of the order.
Ooh. 94 on the gun.
He did pitch against Houston on April 13 in that 17-16 game. 2/3 of an inning, 3 hits, 7 runs. None of those were earned, though. 3 walks and a pair of strikeouts.
Triolo still looking for his first hit today. Stands in against the new right-hander Pellerin. And he'll give up a leadoff walk to Triolo, who's on base for the first time today. That'll give way to Lyle Lockhart, who will stand in.
Again, a 7-run lead, but 9 at-bats, 9 outs to use for Houston. You don't want to give them any daylight. They've got a pretty potent offense here, and Joe Davis standing on deck. If Lockhart can reach base, Davis again, their best home run hitter. 3rd all-time for the Cougars.
Tulane not ready to just stand pat with Pellerin. They've got Sam Bjornjeld warming up over the wall. So a lefty could come in for the Wave. Pellerin there is ahead in the count now, 0-2.
Nice job catching the outer half of the zone there against the left-hander Lockhart. 2-time all-conference for the first baseman.
Just misses the outside part of the plate as the sun comes through the clouds. Count now 1-2 to Lockhart. They'll hold the runner on first and pitch. Yes, he did. Home plate umpire says he swang through it, and Lockhart is retired on the strikeout.
Couldn't hold back that time. Head of the bat got out over the plate. Tried all he could. No, yeah, just couldn't hold back.
First strikeout today by the Houston Cougars. Here we are in the 7th inning.
We have sun on the field, but still a lot of clouds around. Fortunately, those are a little bit north of us, so they've gotten around us.
Here's Joe Davis, who stands in. Reached on a fielder's choice in his last at bat. Today's 1 for 3. Davis is a guy who can turn a ball around in a hurry. Got to be careful here with his quick bat. This one's put into the air to left field. Glancy going back, makes the catch on the track, and that'll send the runner back to first base. He hit it hard, but not quite deep enough.
Didn't get the elevation he wanted on it. It stung it pretty good. Just couldn't get it up in the air enough.
Well, Connor Hollis with that incredible diving catch into shallow right field to end the top of the inning. Comes to the plate here with a man on and 2 outs. Hollis has doubled and singled. He's 2 for 3 today. Gillis was able to retire him on a pop fly in foul territory in the 5th. And now Pellerin falls behind 1-0. Pellerin, one of the most used relievers for Coach Jewett in Tulane, 27 appearances. Paints the inside corner and gets called strike 1.
That one rode back over the plate. Hollis had to hop back out of the way at first. Jammed it right over the edge of the black.
Hit on the ground. Cross the diamond from Hosey in time, and Pellerin does what he's asked to do. Sets down Houston quietly after our 7th inning stretch. We're 7 complete, heading to the top of the 8th when we return, and Tulane up by 7, looking for more here on the American Digital Network.
Oh, that ball is hit deep. Left field. Way back. That ball is gone. Double play ball potentially striking Stalls over to first. In time. Double play, and that ends the game.
Nolan Bond back out for his 4th inning of relief for Houston. He has blanked the Green Wave 3 innings in a row, but his team trails by 7.
It's a career high out of the bullpen for Nolan Bond. He did get a start against McNeese earlier this year where he started and went 4 innings, but out of the bullpen, prior career high 3 2/3 get it against TSU back on February 27th. Actually, that's a season high. Excuse me. His career high is 4 1/3. So as soon as he gets his 2nd out here, it'll be a new career high out of the bullpen for Nolan Bond.
He'll face AC Owen to get things started here in the 8th, and that one is stung down the right field line and scatters the cameraman past the dugout for Tulane. Bond out of the Houston area, grew up in Spring, Texas, went to Klein Oak High School. And they're still chasing that ball down deep in the right field corner. AC Owen came into the ball game hitting 196 today, singled in his first at bat in the 2nd inning, later would score a run. Today's 1 for 3. Behind in the count, and now it evens up. It was nice to see Hosey, who was hit by a pitch in his second to last at bat, stay in the ball game. That one went right in on his knee. Could be due up later this inning. Owen ahead in the count, 2-1 now. Pair of right-handers warming for Houston in the left field bullpen. Owen pulls this foul. A little bit out in front of it. One of the players warming up is Dylan Lester, number 36 for the Cougars. As well as Hunter Edwards, number 43, a freshman right-hander. That one's fouled back into the netting. And for Owen, the count evens at 2-2. Here's your look at the bullpen. Edwards, the freshman, and Lester, also a rookie.
Lester's made 4 appearances so far, Edwards with 8. A chance down by 7 runs if they don't make a run here. A chance to get a couple of those guys who haven't had a lot of action, a few innings. If they are able to come through the losers bracket, if they don't win this game, make their way into the NCAA, you never know who you're going to have to use next week.
Pulled down the line. Nice snag there by the first base coach for the Green Wave. And he'll get a hand. Houston has not lost a lot of games, and they certainly haven't lost games by 7 runs. The line that Tulane is up on them now is the 9-hole hitter draws the walk to start the inning. Early in the year, they lost 14-2 to Kentucky, fell to Vanderbilt 9-4. I'm not seeing any other losses that rival what Tulane is doing to them right now here in the conference tournament opener. Jonathan Artigues will come to the plate. 1 man on, nobody out. Artigues with a nice day so far, already drawn in a couple of RBIs.
Outside of those 2 games you mentioned, the worst loss to in-state rival Texas, they did that in Austin. It was a 5-run loss, 9-4.
So in conference play, Tulane looking to put the biggest hurting on the kingpin Houston Cougars. Here's Owen leading off first base. Catcher only has 1 theft on the year. This is hit hard by Artigues, and it'll find shallow left field. So a walk and a single by Artigues, and Tulane with 2 on and nobody out.
You're going to start getting in some big hitters here, starting with your all-conference center fielder, Grant Witherspoon, already with a single and a triple, and he's driven in 2. Your best home run hitter, and Jensen right behind him hit his 9th home run earlier this afternoon in the 2nd.
Cold Iron made a nice effort, but couldn't get his glove down on it. Now Terry Rooney will come out. He's made a handful of appearances on the hill today. Nice effort, though, by Nolan Bond. He's going to stay in the ball game. He's done a good job of calming down the Tulane bats after they erupted and scored in the first 4 innings. 1 run in the first, 5 in the second, a pair of runs in the third, 1 in the fourth. They've been held scoreless the last 3 by that man, the 6'6" right-hander Bond.
And just shy of tying a career high out of the bullpen at 4 1/3 innings. He's done a nice job to stretch it out. If they have to go to the bullpen, throw a couple of the young guys, save the rest of their pin for tomorrow, he's the reason. If they come through the bracket, through the losers bracket, you're going to have to go back credit Bond here for saving that bullpen for the rest of the week.
You mentioned the big bats. Here comes Witherspoon, the team leader in home runs with 10 and RBIs with 48. 2 on, nobody out as the left-hander stands in against Bond. And we're ready to resume play here in the top of the 8th inning. Owen standing off second. Artigues at first. Neither man will be held on. Witherspoon won't offer at that one. Well, in our very first game, we saw ECU double up on their opponent 8-4. A nice win over UCF, but we did see a 32-game hit streak come to a close for the Pirates as the Player of the Year, Bryant Packard, was not able to get on. Also ended a 37-game on base streak. But I'm telling you what, all smiles at the end of the game after moving on in your first round matchup. Witherspoon 1-1 now, stands back in against Bond. And now Witherspoon ahead in the count, listed at 6'3", 205 pounds. Great RBI opportunity here for the Waves center fielder. .88 on the fastball, which is low from Bond. And now a hitter's count for Witherspoon.
Garnered first team all-conference honors. He's the 6th Green Wave player selected to the first team in 4 years as the membership here in the American.
Really helped break things open in the second with that 2 RBI triple. Win after this one, opposite field. Coming in is Glancy. Make that Bilamovich. Makes the catch, and that's it. 1 out for Witherspoon. And both men will head back to their bases. Big pitch there by Nolan Bond. And nothing but allowed out by Witherspoon.
That's a big out here. Not only does it take the out away from Witherspoon, your best home run hitter, set you up for a potential double play that could end the inning, get you back at the plate.
2 hits in the ball game for Trevor Jensen, the 3-hole hitter. 2-run bomb back in the second, and a single in his last at-bat. Looks at called strike 1. Bond continues to throw strikes and off-speed ones at that against Tulane. Breaking ball again, dropped it down to 74 miles an hour on that one, and Jensen well out in front of it for 0-2. Owen and Artigues on base for the Green Wave, looking to score for the first time in 4 innings against Bond. This one's in the air too. Champion's got a beat on it, and right, he'll make the catch, and the second out of the inning for Tulane.
Things set up well with the leadoff walk and the single to follow by Artigues, but twice Witherspoon and Jensen now getting up in the air, and that'll leave it up to Matthews here to try to produce something. Matthews has been on 4 times this afternoon.
That last meeting at the mound with Terry Rooney coming out to talk with Bond certainly has paid dividends. Witherspoon and Jensen have both flown out to the outfield. Matthews will try and break through here with 2 on and 2 out. Bond will come off the rubber. Matthews came into the ballgame hitting .367 to lead all Green Wave players, but had made just 20 starts on the year. He's appearing in his 35th game overall. First pitch to the DH is called strike 1.
Well, the 2 for 3 afternoon up to .376, so he's doing that average up 9 points, 400 hitter with the runners in scoring position.
Matthews slugging just shy of 600 in his sophomore season. Offers at this one. Couple of fly ball outs to the outfield. Is this one going to find a home? No. Settling under it is Padgett. And Tulane strands a pair here in the 8th inning. We'll head to the bottom of the frame. Houston's down to their final 6 outs, trailing by 7 to the Tulane Green Wave.
When it comes to learning at Tulane University, there are no boundaries. Architects and scientists in New Orleans, doctors and public health experts in Africa, history and language scholars in Latin America, legal students and professors in Europe, business students in Asia. Tulanians are all over the globe, and the world is their oyster. We've got that and a lot more right here at Tulane University.
Back for the bottom of the 8th inning with Tulane up big 9-2 on the #1 seed Houston Cougars, and back out for his second inning of relief is the pitcher Connor Pellerin. Pellerin did a very nice job limiting the Cougars, coming in relief of Keegan Gillis. Gillis, who is in line to get the win and even up his record on the year at 6-6, sitting in the dugout cheering on his teammates now.
Pellerin gave up the leadoff walk to Triolo, which extended his on-base streak to 21 games. Came back and get the strikeout, a fly out, and a ground out to get out of the inning. He's got a good chance here. He's going to face the bottom third of the order for Houston. They are 3 for 9 combined so far this afternoon. But then in the ninth, they're still going to have to get through the top of the order.
Cold Iron, Champion, and Lovelace are scheduled to come to the plate. Cold Iron stands in here against Pellerin. First time he's seen him today, and he sees strike one. Cold Iron was robbed of a hit back in the second inning by Glancy, who had picked up a liner. He's also flown out and grounded out. Today he's 0 for 3. Squares to bunt. Coming in is Hosey at third, but he won't make contact. There have been some high-profile wins on the year for Tulane. Always nice when you can beat the in-state Tigers of LSU. And they have done that well under Coach Jewett. Won some impressive series in American Conference play as well. But this is a statement victory. You know, you got one of the best pitching performances of the year by your starter, Keegan Gillis, and your offense came to life.
You mentioned the win over LSU back on April 18th, a 10-9 win. They had a pair of wins over Purdue out of the Big Ten, beat Cal Fuller 9-3 back in March. Played some close games at night, and then ninth-ranked Ole Miss. That was early in the year after they swept Wright State to start off the season.
At bat continues, called strike 2, and that'll run it full. Little inside, but Pellerin gets the call. Right at the belt. Similar looking pitch, but Cold Iron works the walk, and the leadoff man is on.
That's the third leadoff man to reach for Houston. They get the leadoff walk an inning ago, the leadoff home run by Milojevic back in the first inning. See if they can do something with Cold Iron here. Wendell Champion, who had an RBI single. He's driven in one of the 2 runs so far this afternoon. He got that back in the second inning.
4th walk given up in the ball game by the Tulane pitching staff. 2 for Gillis, now 2 for Pellerin. He'll throw over to first base. 9 runs on 13 hits for the Green Wave. 2 runs on 8 hits. 2 errors committed by Houston. Fastball by Pellerin is at 91 miles an hour, but too far upstairs. And I believe the pitching coach calls time. They'll come out to talk with Pellerin. They do have a left-hander warming up, who was warming up last inning as well for the Green Wave. So a man on and nobody out, and that'll prompt the pitching coach to come out.
You mentioned Tulane, some of their big wins this year. The one thing Tulane just could not do is really put a big win streak together. They won 3 in a row a few times. They're able to put a 4 or 5 game win streak together at one time and get any kind of momentum. It looks like Sam Bjornyeld is the pitcher getting loose for Tulane right now.
Well, there were some struggles on the road as well. Single-digit wins on the road. Looking to carve out their first win at a neutral site here in 2018. So Cold Iron comes off first base. Champion digs back in. Called strike one. 89 on the fastball there by Pellerin. Swings through that one.
Lay off and it was down and in. Cold Iron the leadoff walk with 18 steals. Doubt he's going anywhere. Nice pitch, dove down just the last second.
Back-to-back low fastballs by Pellerin, and Champion falls behind in the count. Looking for his second hit of the day. He's already driven in one. Breaking ball from 89 to 77, and there's a strikeout by Connor Pellerin, his second in relief.
Nice job to in and out Champion. The strike before came down, and in that time he stays away from him. Now double play could get him out of the inning. Take a look at this pitch. Nice job as it drops off the table.
That's the first out of the inning. And now Houston in the bottom of the 8th will bring Kyle Lovelace to the plate. Single and a double. He's 2 for 3 today. And ahead in the count, 1-0.
2 of their 8 hits for the freshman. Came in at 168. He's moved up to 184 this afternoon.
Lovelace listed at 5'10", 160. The freshman backstop for the Cougars out of Hudson, Texas.
One of your smaller frame catchers, that Craig Biggio style, before they moved him out to second base.
Couldn't catch up with the heat there. A little bit late. And the count now 1-2. Pellerin came into the ball game with 42 strikeouts in 41 innings pitched. This one's hit softly to the left side. The throw to second's in time. Over to first. Better throw might have got him, and the inning continues. And I think a couple of players got rattled at second base. The run over by Cooper Cold Iron. He interfered with the throw, and it'll be a double play to end the inning. So Cold Iron might be a chance to see it on replay. Ran through the second baseman. And that'll end the threat for Houston, who's now down to their final 3 outs, Jeff.
Well, it's going to be the top of the order, but they've got a long way to go, down by 7 runs before they make a push. They had an opportunity there with a leadoff walk the last 2 innings. So we take another look at this one. Well, it was close, but they do call the runner interference, so they get Lovelace out at first.
Let's go down on the field with Haley Out.
As we head into the final inning, Tulane carries a 7-run lead, and we're potentially looking at a possibility for the second year in a row where an 8 seed defeats the 1 seed here in the conference tournament. Last year it was ECU who beat UCF, so if Tulane can hang on, then they will do this for the second year in a row. And Jeff and Garrett, I wanted to get your thoughts on this. I think that really speaks to the level of competition in this conference.
Yeah, absolutely, Haley. We came in talking about this year. 5 teams are vying for those at-large spots, but then you take a look at 7, 8, and 9 coming into this weekend. Everyone's inside the top 100 in the American Conference as far as the 8 teams that are here this weekend, and they're not very far out. Tulane came in with right around an 88. Wichita State, their top 50 with a 48. Cincinnati at an 85. We knew Tulane, I saw them 2 weeks ago, had enough offensive firepower to do something like they did today. Now they've got to make the quick turnaround. Fortunately for them, they don't have to go too deep into the bullpen. And if they can get a win tomorrow with this weather, they could get 1, potentially 2 days off before they have to play again. We'll have to see how the weather plays out tomorrow. But then you look at Wichita State. You take a look at Cincinnati. One of the bottom 3 seeds in this tournament win. I think definitely you're going to get 5 teams in the NCAA.
There's the starting pitcher for Tulane. Keegan Gillis with a heroic effort today. Really helped save their bullpen, and you got to love the fact that so many teams are in contention for NCAA tournament play. Would love to see LeClaire Stadium host a regional. Currently 13 in the RPI. Coming out of this tournament with a crown on their head, could bump that a little bit. So there's not much to worry about when they're picking regionals and making NCAA tournament selections. Cody Hosey at the plate now to lead things off. Top of the 9th for Tulane. They're up 9-2. Nolan Bond for Houston. Back out again in relief, looking to just close out the field effort for the Cougars. He has put 4 donuts on the board against this Tulane offense. Hosey sees the count go 1-2. That one a little bit low.
One team we haven't mentioned much, and I know it's just the second game of the tournament. UConn sitting there with about a 19 RPI. They've been in and out of the projections as far as hosting up in Norwich, Connecticut. If UConn makes a run to Sunday, they could get back up potentially that top 16 RPI. They could potentially think about a host site. Jim Pender's team last year so close to an NCAA, one of the last few teams left out. I thought when we left Clearwater last year, they had done enough and they would find themselves in the NCAA, but just left out this year. They have been outstanding with 32 wins, 12-8 record against the top 50.
And a lot like East Carolina, they have stacked up the road wins. This one's hit a long way into right field. Champion coming over and makes the catch in the clay. That ball kind of ran into the wind, but it'll be the first out of the inning for Tulane.
Had to take an odd line to it to the left, and all of a sudden that wall gets really close. Not a lot of foul territory. Once you get past the infield here at Spectrum Field, but they did a nice job, able to slam on the brakes just before he gets to the wall. You mentioned that road record, 22-13 for the Huskies this year. With the weather and with an older ballpark, they're the victim of the weather at J.O. Christian, and they are looking for renovations up there for softball, baseball, and soccer, all in that complex.
Here's the pitch to Glancy. It's a one-hopper. Everything I've seen online, the plans are just fantastic. I mean, a sparkling, beautiful ballpark, which is, you know, something fitting for what UConn has accomplished. A handful of College World Series appearances for that program and conference championships under Coach Jim Penders. The 1-1 called strike 2.
We mentioned the NCAA appearances, the record early in that trivia question, but I believe that UConn has the most appearances, 5 trips to Omaha. Now, that's not anymore now that Wichita State's in the league. The field turf will help immensely once they get that new facility up in Stores.
I saw some early projections talking about hosting a regional for them at Fenway. This one's pulled right side. Great diving stop there by Lockhart. Flips it over to Bond for the second out of the inning. The Houston defense is on point today.
Nice grab by Lockhart, and the nice cover by Bond had it all the way.
College baseball at Fenway.
That would be pretty neat.
I'll take it.
They had the football game there last year. Was it the year before?
They've had games at Wrigley Field for football. I've seen that.
Well, it was last year they had the game at Fenway Park as well.
I'm sure the grounds crew loves that. Here's the 2-out pitch. Ty Johnson hits it through the hole at shortstop, and they just can't get Tulane 1-2-3. So Bond gives up the single with 2 outs, and the inning continues here in the top of the 9th.
That was a 3rd hit of the day for Ty Johnson. He has singles in the 2nd, 3rd, and again here in the 9th inning.
So coming in to run in the ball game for Tulane will be 31 Tyler Heinrichs. And Johnson's day is done. He'll head back, and he kind of limped into first base like he did earlier in the ball game. But a 3-hit day is something to be proud about as Sal Gazzo comes to the plate.
He'll leave the game at 292. Came in at 281, so an 11-point improvement over the batting average.
Gazzo robbed of a hit by Connor Hollis, who's standing in the same spot at second base right now. Heinrichs has scored 9 runs on the year. 2 for 2 in the stolen base department. Don't expect that here with 2 outs. And Heinrichs has now appeared in 45 games for the Wave this year. Bond comes set. The 1-1 to Gazzo. This one gets away from Lovelace. And quickly moving up there. Heinrich standing on second base now.
A chance for a 2-out RBI now for Sal Gazzo with a wild pitch, moving Heinrichs up into scoring position. Gazzo looking for his first hit, had what looked like his first hit, as you mentioned, when Hollis dove to end the 7th inning.
Gazzo and Luke Glancy, the only players without a hit today for the Green Wave. Fastball, 87 miles an hour. And Sal takes that one to even the count at 2.
Yeah, it'll be the top of the order for the Cougars in the bottom of the inning.
This one's fouled back into the screen. Tulane advances. They'll play in Game 7 tomorrow, and that game would be played on the field across from us at the Robin Roberts complex. So as it stands, with the weather being an issue, it doesn't look like that's a game that would be televised. Gazzo pulls this one right to his first base coach on a hop. And they, of course, would take on ECU.
That'll be approximately 4 o'clock tomorrow. We will keep you updated on what's going on over the other ball fields tomorrow. 6 games, 3 here at Spectrum Field, 3 over at Robin Roberts Field.
Bond 1 pitch from getting out of the inning. He's been a hero in relief. This one finishes low. Bond wants a fresh ball. Gazzo with a man on. Chance to extend the lead if they put anything into the outfield. Heinrichs runs well. And they'll walk him back to second.
Lane 5 of 13 today, hitting .385 with runners in scoring position. .409 with runners on base.
This one finishes low, and he'll draw the walk. A.C. Owen was standing on deck with his catcher's shin guards on. He'll pop them off and head to the plate. 2 on, 2 out for the Green Wave.
A.C. Owen 1 for 3, has a walk this afternoon, had the single, the run scored back in the second, drew the walk an inning ago, ended up being stranded. In fact, when he drew his walk to lead it off, Artigues followed with a single. Looked like Tulane would get something going, but 3 straight flyouts induced by Bond within the inning.
Now 4 walks in the ball game drawn by Tulane. They've had a base runner in every inning except the 7th. The 2-out pitch hit on a line in right field, and it will drop over the glove of Champion. This will score 2 runs. Owen on his horse, and now coming around to score is Heinrich as well as Gazzo. Tulane leads it 11-2.
There are RBIs by Owen. That'll be 20 and 21 of the year. Champion made a nice effort at it, nearly came up with another diving play, but when he missed it, had no chance of that one.
Might have been looking to end the inning there and get the 3rd out and get his team back out to the plate, but instead that will end the day, I believe, for Nolan Bond as Terry Rooney comes out to the hill. Nice effort by that young man. He had shut out the Wave for 4 innings in a row before 2 runs came across.
Going to be a career high out of the bullpen for Bond. 5 2/3, 4 hits, a pair of runs, both earned, 2 walks, no strikeouts through 79 pitches out of the bullpen, 51 for strikes. And if they get back through the bracket, you got to credit Bond today.
Houston will bring their 5th pitcher of the game in when we return here. It's 11-2 Tulane in the top of the 9th.
Power comes in all forms.
Power is a big tackle,
A big save.
A clutch hit.
And a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
power is respecting an opponent, officials,
Student athletes, coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments.
Profanities or other improper actions.
While at the game.
Be American.
Power.
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 Power for life.
When it comes to learning at Tulane University, there are no boundaries. Architects and scientists in New Orleans, doctors and public health experts in Africa, history and language scholars in Latin America, legal students and professors in Europe, business students in Asia. Tulanians are all over the globe, and the world is their oyster. We've got that, and a lot more, right here at Tulane University.
Tulane has finally chased Nolan Bond out of relief after 5 innings. They've pushed 2 runs across here. They lead it 11-2. New pitcher in the ballgame is Hunter Edwards, the redshirt freshman.
A right-handed pitcher, and Edwards this year has seen a few games, 8 outings. He's 1-0 out of the bullpen, no saves, a .365 earned run average. 12 1/3 innings pitched, 9 hits, 6 runs, 5 of those have been earned, 5 walks and 7 strikeouts. Just a .209 average against. No wild pitches. He has hit 2 batters on the season, and again, it is Hunter Edwards, 6'1", 205 out of Cypress, Texas.
So Heinrichs came around to score. So did Salgazzo. Standing on second base, A.C. Owen, the catcher. And now the top of the order coming to face Hunter Edwards here in the top of the 9th.
4-hit day for Artigues, all 4 singles.
Not much of a sample size, only 4+ years of the conference tournament. I can't think of too many guys who may have hit more than 4 hits in a game here in Clearwater since the tournament came in 2014 for the American. Maybe a 5-hit guy.
Well, his 4 hits today have tied a career high for Jonathan. Last time he did it was against East Tennessee State on April 21st in game 1 of a doubleheader.
Singled in his last at-bat in the 8th inning. And would be 5 for 5 if not for a nice diving catch out in the field by Champion. So Artigues ahead in the count, 2-0, first base open, and the leadoff man stands back in. Edwards, the 5th pitcher of the day. Aaron Fletcher, Kyle Ott, Carter Henry, and Nolan Bond before him. Breaking ball, and he misses his spot. Count now 3-0. Top 4 of the order really got it done today for Tulane. They've got a 9-run lead here on Houston. Artigues watches that one all the way, and the count goes 3-1.
Well, 10 of the 15 hits came from Artigues, Witherspoon, Jensen, and Matthews.
Artigues will take a 5-pitch walk.
He's been on 5 times now. As far as reaching base, 15 times between those 4 they have reached base in this ball game.
That'll bring up the heavy hitter in Grant Witherspoon.
Artigues 5 times, Witherspoon twice, Jensen 4 times, and Matthews 4 times.
Witherspoon's hit of the day was that big 2 RBI triple into center field. 2 on, 2 out. He'll take the first pitch. Edwards at 6'1", 205 pounds out of Cypress, Texas. Went to Cy-Fair High. Checks the runner at second. Witherspoon out in front of that one. And it looks like it's going to find foul territory. No souvenir for you.
Well, I was looking.
Witherspoon, one of those guys who came in with just incredible numbers, hitting over 320, 70 hits on the year, 10 home runs, 19 doubles. Key piece of the lineup for the Green Wave. And the infield pretty far back right now for him. The 1-1. Got under this one. He popped it up on the infield. Should be a play for Hollis. And that's the end of the inning. Tulane leaves 2 on. That's 7 in the game for them, but they push 2 more across, and the Green Wave lead it 11-2. They need 3 outs to move on into the winners bracket here on the American Digital Network.
Oh, that ball is hit deep. Left field. Way back. That ball is gone. Double play ball potentially striking Stalls over to first. In time. Double play, and that ends the game.
Weather has settled down here in Clearwater, Florida. We're looking to close out our Game 2 with Tulane on top of Houston 11-2. As Haley pointed out earlier, this could be the second year in a row that an 8 shocks the 1 in the opening round. ECU turned the trick last year. The Green Wave, behind a powerful offense, have pounded out 11 runs on 15 hits. They're 3 outs shy. And Houston will come to the plate with 1-2-3 set to go.
Well, we're going to watch a matchup tomorrow. We're not going to see it, unfortunately. ECU and Tulane that both scored a lot of runs. East Carolina got behind 3-0, but then got the offense rolling. 8 runs on 12 hits in their 8-4 win over UCF earlier today.
Bilamovic swinging at the first pitch, and he's got a single into center field. So the left fielder comes through. Second hit of the ball game. He's been on base 4 times today.
Solid game. It's been kind of quiet. He hit that leadoff home run in the first. He's drawn the pair of walks, now the single, but quietly, as you mentioned, 4 times he's been on.
Now Grayson Padgett scheduled to come to the plate. The center fielder stands in. Helps start a triple play for the Cougars against Tulane. He'll face Connor Pellerin for the first time today. Pellerin now with 2+ innings of relief. Falls behind 1-0. 6'3" right-hander. Blows one through the glove of Owen, and that'll send the runner to second base. So Bilamovic doesn't hesitate there.
So it'll be an official pass ball for Bilamovic to go to second base. RBI opportunity, though, here for Padgett.
Wow, that is hard to believe. Looking over Houston's schedule, their biggest loss of the year in conference play was by 2 runs. Tulane up by 9 here in the conference championship. Late on the fastball, 91 miles an hour by Pellerin, and that'll bring the count now 2-2.
More surprising thing, really, they only played the 2 games over the weekend at Southeastern Louisiana. The 6-3 win, the 5-4 loss in the year. They did that one on Friday, so they got the extra day off. Just give credit to Tulane. Remember, it seems like a lifetime ago we were back in the first and second inning, but Tulane never let the pitcher of the year, Aaron Fletcher, settle in. Just attacked him early in every count.
Pellerin just misses there. That'll run the count full. Greenway fans with plenty to cheer about from start to finish in this ball game. That big 5-run explosion back in the second really put some pressure on Houston. They've been playing from behind ever since. Paget fouls this one back.
What you had to think of if you make it to Saturday in the semifinals, or if you make it back through, if Houston does, into Sunday. Fletcher only threw 46 pitches. So didn't wear on his arm too much. Could bring him back into play over the weekend. You got to get there first.
Got to protect on the outside part of the plate, and they do. So Bilamovich will walk back to second base, and the count remains 3-2 to Grayson Paget. Payoff pitch, hit on a line into left center field. They'll send the run around from second base. Bilamovich is going to score, and a run will come across in the bottom of the ninth for Houston.
Well, the chances of rallying are extremely slim, but you do want to go get momentum coming into tomorrow. You don't want to lay down here. Get something going. Feel a little bit better about yourself. Carry some momentum in tomorrow's matchup.
Nice at-bat there by Grayson Paget. He pounds out his first hit of the day in his 5th at-bat. An RBI single into shallow left center. Now Jared Triolo comes to the plate. He's also looking for his first hit. He walked in his last at-bat. Can't make any mistakes to Triolo. Came in hitting .360 with 11 doubles on the year. Couple of fly ball outs today. He's 0 for 3.
Did grab that walk in the 7th that extended that on-base streak to 21 games, so he still has that going.
Ahead in the count now, 2-0 with a man on first. Lyle Lockhart standing on deck. He's raced base twice today. So Houston's been on the base path. They just have not been able to generate runs to match Tulane. The 3-0 won't offer at that, and he draws a 4-pitch walk. Pellerin's given up 2 free passes, now make it 3 in relief.
Well, it's falling behind in the count. That's allowing the base hits and allowing Bilamovich and Paget to square it up. But now Triolo draws the walk, his 2nd walk of the ballgame. He got this big lead right now. Just pound the strike zone. Let the defense work. Still an 8-run lead here with 3 outs remaining.
Pellerin pounds the ball into his mitt and gets back up on the rubber. He's ready to go here. His team leading by 8. Left-hander warming in the pen was Sam Bjornyeld. He's back up. Bjornyeld has to be ready to go by now, just in case. The 1-0 to Lockhart. And Pellerin has missed the zone on his last 6 pitches.
Well, I think it would have to get pretty serious to go to Bjornyeld, but another 2 batters get on.
Catches the outside corner, 91 miles an hour by Pellerin. Went to Episcopal High School in the capital city, Baton Rouge. True freshman here in Clearwater. That one is swung through by Lockhart, and the count evens 2-2.
Double play
this ball right by him.
Double play would be nice for Pellerin right now. Get him 2 outs, get him 1 out away from getting out of this ball game.
Especially with a big hitter like Joe Davis on deck for the Cougars. All Tulane needs to do here is throw strikes, play defense. They're clean in the field to this point, and just erase these guys off the base paths and move on. Nobody out, and your payoff pitch. Got him. Strikeout Pellerin. Big time pitch there by the freshman.
Couldn't lay off the heater that time, and now you're a double play away from getting out of the ball game by Joe Davis, coming to the plate just 1 for 4 this afternoon.
3 strikeouts in the ball game for Pellerin. They've all come in relief. Nice 2-review look there. Pellerin ready to work to Joe Davis, and he's swinging through one on the outside corner. Little extra juice on that one. 93 miles an hour. Davis today 1 for 4.
Well, if you want to challenge Joe Davis, this is the time to do it with the comfortable lead, the 8-run lead. Come at him again.
93 mirrored pitches there, and Davis down to his final strike.
Fastball against the power hitter.
Tries to fool him inside, and Davis won't bite. He singled back in the 3rd, reached on a fielder's choice in the 5th. Today, Joe Davis, the DH, 1 for 4. Little too fine there by Pellerin. Davis works the count even.
Now Joe's just going to hunt fastballs.
Twice Joe has been an all-conference selection in the American. Now in his junior season in Houston. Breaking ball, 77 miles an hour, and Davis just got a piece of it. Davis at 6 foot 230 out of Austin, Texas. Gets into one here. It's hit a long way into left field, headed towards the bullpen. It's out of here. A berm bomb by Joe Davis. And that cuts into the lead. It's now 11-6 Tulane over Houston. But the Cougars pound out a home run deep to left field.
Well, left it up high, and Joe Davis will make you pay every time. Put on a show here, as I remember his freshman season at the conference tournament. Comes through. That's home run number 30 that ties with J.P. Woodward, who played at Houston from '99 to 2000. Now 1 away from tying Pat Hughes' all-time record of 31 home runs from '85 to '86.
Second home run of the ball game for the Houston Cougars. That was on the outside part of the plate, and he had the strength to just get it all the way out to the berm in left center field. Pilamovich led the game off with a bomb. Now Pellerin will work to Connor Hollis. Still just 1 out in the inning.
Davis, the 4th Cougar, hit 28 home runs in his first 3 seasons.
Pretty impressive numbers at a program like Houston. The 0-1. Hollis is even in the count now, 1-1. Connor doubled in the 2nd inning, singled in the 3rd. He's been retired twice since. Today 2 for 4. Pellerin's fastball is called strike 2. So a game that was 11-2 is now 11-6. 4 runs across for the Cougars. Just got a piece of the breaking ball.
Well, that'll give them a little bit of momentum before they go into their next game. Instead of being back on their heels, still if they don't rally, it'll be a loss, but still a little something going into tomorrow.
Hollis called out on strikes. 4 strikeouts in relief now for Pellerin, and the Cougars are down to their final out.
Cooper Coldiron led off with a walk an inning ago, the first and only time he's been on base. Now you're getting into the bottom 3rd of this order for the Houston Cougars.
Cooper Coldiron will come to the plate. 2-year player for the Cougars out of Grayson College. 2017 started the final 15 games of the year. Lines this one foul a long way into right field. Took over the starting job at shortstop.
You look at all the offensive fireworks Tulane put on the board today, but Gillis still maybe the story. 6 solid innings against the regular season champions.
Hits this one hard, but hits it into the glove of Luke Glancy. And Tulane has shocked the #1 seed Houston Cougars by a score of 11-6. They will head into the winner's bracket here at the American Championships in 2018.
So all the way around today for the Tulane Green Wave.
11 runs on 15 hits for Houston, just 6 and 10. We'll have more when we return here on the American Digital Network.
When it comes to learning at Tulane University, there are no boundaries. Architects and scientists in New Orleans, doctors and public health experts in Africa, history and language scholars in Latin America, legal students and professors in Europe, business students in Asia. Tulaneans are all over the globe, and the world is their oyster. We've got that, and a lot more, right here at Tulane University.
Eleven to 6, Tulane shocks Houston, the 8-over-1 here to get things started on day one of our conference tournament. Let's go down onto the field with the victorious coach, Travis Jewett of Tulane.
Keegan Gillis.
Well, just a tremendous amount, there's no question. You know, I often say that when the kids go off for the summer in their freshman year and they come back, they're totally different people. He certainly is that. You know, more believability. He's functionally stronger. He's able to go deeper in games, throwing harder. A lot of good things for him. So we needed that. You know, this game was predicated on starting pitching. So we knew we were going to need it against a guy like Keegan today.
4th or 5. Able to find success at the plate today.
Well, because I just think he managed the strike zone well. You know, I think he came out through the first punch too. You know, he swung at the first pitch of the game and hit a line drive, and then from there, you know, I just think he swung at the strikes and took the balls. You know, I really it's that simple. And when he got some advantage counts, he got the pitch from the strike zone.
We apologize for the mic, but the game has gone final here. 15 hits, 11 runs for Tulane. Houston just 6 runs on 10 hits. Jeff, real quick, wrapping it up.
They did a nice job in all aspects of the game. 11 runs, 15 hits. On the mound, Gillis was outstanding today, going up against the pitcher of the year. 6 innings, just 2 runs, and clean sheet on defense. They played well in all 3 aspects.
So Tulane advances on a score of 11-6. They will play East Carolina in a winner's bracket game tomorrow in what will be Game 7 later in the afternoon on the complex just across from this one. A reminder, 3 games here in the ballpark tomorrow and 3 games across the field from us. 6 total due to some weather concerns in the area. We appreciate everyone who worked hard on today's broadcast and also the field crew here in Clearwater. They kept us clean on the field and got our 2 games in. We've got a big day on tap tomorrow. We hope everyone can join us here on the American Digital Network. For Haley Out, Jeff Brightwell, I'm Garrett Walvard. Final score, Tulane, the 8th seed, upsets Houston 11-6. Number 1 goes down here in Clearwater. More fireworks to come this week on the American Digital Network.